Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday night edition of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and I'm here because I love the woo, and I know you do too. So let's have some fun with our guest tonight, Dana Kippel. We're going to get into the mind of people who've had experiences. It's going to be a good one. Dirty Filth is here with another crazy cartoon, and the best part about tonight, we have each and every one of you. Yes, we do. Including Tim Mothman and his goatee sharing a gold medal tonight. Paramarv with a silver. Kitty Caddywhack taking home the bronze medal tonight. Race Fan in the number 4 position. Thunderhead, how you doing? Necessary Dialogue and Roswell Alien, nice to have you both here. Be Done With It, how you doing? Be Done With It. We'll be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Scrolling on down. Up next, we have Mel WD-40 here lubing us up for tonight's show, because you can't talk about consciousness, aliens, paranormal, cryptids without being lubed up. So Mel is lubing us up as we speak. Thank you, Mel. This is going to be a good time tonight. Amy, how are you? Nice to see you. Mama Catherine, mwah. There may be a birthday gift for someone special officially ordered, Mama Catherine. It may have happened. It may not. I just have to play a little bit secretive there, so you won't know. She won't know. No, little Ava may or may not be getting a gift from Uncle Davey here. I'm excited for her. I am. Yes, she's getting a gift from me. Of course she is. All right, scrolling on down. Ann B, how are you? And who is next? Great conversation going on here. Integrationing, how are you? Nice to have you here. As we continue on with our roll call, Eternity Eternal, nice to see you. Alpine Fur, good to have you back. Operation Shutdown, thanks for coming on in as we continue on with our roll call tonight. Flat 6, good to see you. And Luscious Jules, always a pleasure. Juliana is here. Juliana will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. So that way nobody gets mixed up. Plasma Intelligence, I wonder who that might be. I wonder. Yeah, she's in our chat room for the first time. Don't you forget to hit subscribe. No, you got to hit subscribe. Algaray over on Twitch. 3,000 jumping jacks in 4.25 minutes to warm up for tonight's show. He's jacked. He's ready. Jay Trueseeker, how are you? I'm Hardcore over on X. And who is next? In the studio. Nice to see you. Jeremy Jones, how you doing tonight? East Coast Turnaround on X. Thank you for listening on in. Oob to Joe's Maine, you've got aliens. Yes, you do. Gary J, how you doing? Robert Lamoth and Walter Kochabinski. Always a pleasure to have you guys here as well. Who is next? Super Crazy. How are you? Nice to see you. And let's see here. Digger Dog, thanks for coming on in. Carol Lamario, nice to have you here. Jersey Kid, good to have you. And we're going to get the radio side going here, peeps. 1 second. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. The audio sucks because I'm having to reach away from my microphone, but we're back now, and we are going to have a great show tonight. Dana Kippel is here. We're going to get into intelligent plasma, the consciousness, the human mind, and how it's affected by all sorts of high strangeness. Spiraling 69, how are you? Nice to have you here as we are in roll call right now. Who else do we have? Snowing like a mofo outside the studio here, which is always a little bit exciting. I like when that happens. And let's see, we're coming back in like 25 seconds. The super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out. Ozzy Ange, nice to have you here tonight. It is that time where I ask all of you to throw your horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have an amazing show for you tonight. Intelligent plasma, the human mind, and so much more. Author and researcher Dana Kippel joins us to talk about this incredible subject. It's her first time on this show, so, we're going to treat her nicely. Have some fun. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will be here with another spooky story. We're going to follow that up with the Wizard. Yes, the Wizard. Josh Rutledge will be here for the UFO report. So let's get right down to it. Let's get down to business, shall we? As we get ready to talk to you about our lovely guest tonight. Dana Kippel is a survivor, creator, and visionary who transformed a childhood marked by bullying, addiction, and trauma into a powerful mission of self-love, consciousness, exploration, and human potential. Adopted and raised in Suffern, New York, she emerged as a polymath, author, filmmaker, and mental health advocate whose working bridges spiritually and scientifically. Yeah, she's going right down a great path. And the cutting edge of neurodivergent insight. Dana pioneers the study of plasma intelligence, positioning plasma as a living, conscious bridge between dimensions, timelines, and the unseen layers of reality. Her debut book, A New Force, Plasma Consciousness and the New Human Potential, will dive deep into plasma consciousness, synergy, and how it may reshape human evolution. Yeah. I have no idea what that means. That's why I went into sports journalism. But we're going to learn tonight. Dana Kippel, it is very nice to have you on Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm great. How are you?
I am wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for coming on the air with us tonight.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm excited to talk about plasma and paranormal and weird things and mental health and consciousness and whatever.
Well, we're going to get into it. Let's learn a little bit about you first. How did this all begin for you? What caused you to start studying about this?
Yeah, it's super weird. I actually didn't know what the heck plasma was either. And when I turned around 30, I started meditating, and I was on like my third day of meditation. I was doing transcendental meditation, and I had been going through a really bad relationship, and I kind of was feeling like shit because, abandonment wounds and betrayal wounds and, being adopted and all those things. And I was just feeling really depressed. And all I had was an intention of wanting to feel better and wanting to like connect with myself. Like I wanted to stop needing things outside myself, which has been my whole life, like through addictions and validation and just anything outside myself, I used to self-regulate. And, I'm working on that still to this day. And when I started meditating the third time, all of a sudden in my meditation, it like came through to me. I can't explain how, I still can't explain it in like human words, but all of a sudden I just knew like, whatever this plasma was at the time, plasma is intelligent. It is the vehicle for consciousness. And I was told by like my higher self that I was going to write a book called A New Force about plasma. And then everything else in that book also was like dropped into my head. And then it took the next kind of 5 years to bring that into human words. And then eventually I wrote it this year. And, now it's out. It's like a 700-page big book. So that's how I figured it out. It's really a mystery.
But it's your story and it's your mystery, and it's absolutely something divine to you because you needed that piece in order to get your life back on track, to get yourself refocused. How did you change as a person as you got into that?
Yeah, so much. And I still am changing to this day. I feel like, so there's science and spirituality, right? And then there's metaphysics. When I love science, but I never felt like the emotion of science. Like there are a lot of missing pieces that science can't answer for me and mysteries. And then with spirituality, there are a lot of missing pieces that it can't give me due to science and my logical brain. And plasma seemed to be this metaphysical bridge between the two, where it gave tangibility to all the self-help books and spiritual books I've ever read. Why telepathy is possible, why this energy is actually tangible, and we're actually seeing it as plasma in the third dimensional realm, which I'll get into, and that it is the vehicle for consciousness. It creates our conscious experience, that there is a feminine principle to this, divine masculine consciousness principle. It's kind of like plasma is our dance partner through life. And all of us are here working on our consciousness, not realizing that we're neglecting the other side of the equation, this energy, this chi, this universal ether that has been suppressed for thousands of years. And in science, it's even been suppressed, which is why no one learns about plasma ever, but it makes up 99.9% of visible matter. And just to say my definition of plasma quick. So there's plasma in science, which it is the fourth state of matter. It is an ionized gas. It can be lightning, the northern lights. It can be neon signs. It can be, it's also in your blood. That's a different type of plasma, but they have the same behaviors, which I get into in my book. I say, okay, that is the third dimensional lens of science on this plasma, which is actually a living ether, a fabric of our reality that is multidimensional. It is the vehicle for consciousness. It is not conscious itself, but it wraps itself around all consciousness, which explains why we have a bioplasma aura around us. The Earth has a plasma membrane around it called the ionosphere and magnetosphere. Right. Every cell has a plasma membrane. Once you start making the connections as above, so below, you go on a wormhole like I did. But yeah, basically plasma is a multidimensional living sentient fabric of reality that is a vehicle for consciousness, intelligence, and information. So that's kind of where I start with it.
You mentioned that when you turned 30, you started getting into meditation to try and, bring some balance to your life. What brought that on, and why was it successful for you?
Sure. I think I just had a very long life of struggle. I started out being adopted, which I didn't think I had an issue with. I've always prided myself that I didn't have trauma from being adopted. But I think the truth is that just subconsciously, I felt very discarded as a child. I all of a sudden was in a family, and, God bless my family. They, tried the best they could. But I was looking at people and I was like, wait, I'm not from you. Like, where am I from? And then, in elementary school, I was bullied a lot. I didn't have many really close friendships. I had a lot of friends that were close move away. People made fun of, my last name, my glasses, that fact that I was weird and talking about aliens and, past lives or whatever from the age of like 8 or 6. And then, I was in gymnastics, and my gymnastics teacher, was a bad man. And you can kind of put the, 2 and 2 together, because I know the show is, not a rated R show. He went to jail. And then, I developed a drug addiction and alcohol addiction when I was 14, and also got into like horrible codependent relationships. And once again, was searching for everything outside myself. And then after I got sober, even at age 21, I was still searching for love outside myself, and, all the wrong friends and all the wrong men. And eventually I got to 30, and I just felt like I had enough pain. And I was like, okay, I need to like heal my trauma. And I've been in therapy my whole life, and it didn't work, cognitive behavioral therapy. But I didn't know there was something called somatic therapy and, hypnotherapy and internal family systems, and working on your body that stores trauma. So I started doing a mix of that and something called the comprehensive resource model, which I link in my book. And I started doing transcendental meditation. I just wanted to feel better, and nothing else was working. I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll dive inward finally, because I was so scared of my inner world, because my inner world as a child was full of demons and monsters and horrible memories, and loneliness and pain that I just didn't want to feel. It was too much to feel at the time. So I had to survive. And I still struggle sometimes with diving inwards, because I have so much still to work on. I mean, this was my whole life of pain up until 30. And even still, like, last year my dad died. So I had to deal with all of that, and it was very abrupt. And, I went through a breakup a few years ago. That was rough too. And now for the first time, I'm 36 now, and I'm still working on, having secure attachment and healthy relationships. But I forgot your question now. But when I started meditating,
you answered it perfectly, to be blunt.
Okay.
Meditation. How did you find out about it? Why did you decide to try it?
Yeah. I just wanted to feel better. And I found out about transcendental meditation because I was a filmmaker. I'm a science fiction filmmaker, and I heard David Lynch did it. And I was like, oh, I want to be like David Lynch. I'm going to try transcendental meditation. And the first time I did it, I had a beautiful spiritual experience. I have the recording. I've never posted it, but I'm going to. And I was in plasma. I was in this like fractal pink womb all of a sudden. And I was crying tears of joy, because I knew where I came from, where I'll go back to. I knew that my worries were an illusion. I knew that everything was okay at like the deepest level, even though things almost never feel okay with me, because my nervous system is so dysregulated. And I don't know. I mean, that changed it all for me. And I'm not saying that worked forever. After a few weeks, you come down from that, and then real life hits you, and you're a human again with all these problems. I'm still a human every day with all these problems, knowing plasma or not. The difference is I have the choice and the power to work through my problems, to face my fears. When I have scary paranormal experiences, I know how to turn them into good experiences, which my whole life I didn't know how to do. I've been plagued with horrible, demonic visitations, shadow people. I've been able to turn those now into beautiful experiences, which I'm happy to explain how. And it all has to do with plasma. So, yeah.
When did the paranormal experiences start for you?
As early as I can remember. I was drawing pictures of like aliens from like age 6 or 5, like in a yard. I was writing stories about being abducted and taken away by aliens and then dropped in the ocean with my mermaid family. I was really angry once as a kid, and a lamp flew across my room. I don't know if I did it or I just imagined it. I would get visited. I would have sleep paralysis after I was 9. I started having sleep paralysis and, seeing, all types of demons, like a red demon floating in front of me. One time I saw a basketball player and he took his head off and threw it at me. Just like the weirdest sleep paralysis experiences. Ghosts almost every night. Like I literally couldn't sleep because I would like feel things looking at me. And what I realized after doing a lot of trauma healing, because this doesn't happen now. So I've been in the darkest darkness and now I'm, in the light, is that these experiences were all resonating with the fear within me, with the trauma I hadn't healed. And they were actually beings that were trying to help me and help evolve me. But I was seeing them as these horrible monsters because there's this layer, what I call 4-dimensional plasma. You can call it the Akashic field. You can call it whatever you want to call it, 0-point energy. There's this field, this dark field between ourselves and our higher selves, or these higher beings of consciousness, 5D consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it. There's this dark layer that holds all of our timelines, all of our ancestry, all of our archetypes we've ever seen, grays, demons, dakinis, good things too. And these beings are clothed in this 4-dimensional plasma, just like we have for, bioplasma or around us. And we see them based on our own perceptions. So I was seeing them through a lens of fear, which co-created some really scary experiences.
When did the aliens first start coming?
I'm trying to think of like a first memory I have. I mean, so I have one memory of being on a ship where I have like a weird mark on my finger too that I've had my whole life. And there's like black dark spots in it, in this like red thing. You would have to look really close, but it's very strange. I always thought that was something, but who knows? But yes, I was, I don't know, between, I would say 7 and 9. And I got brought on this ship. I don't know if I've ever told this story in public. And, I was like this kind of in like a Leonardo da Vinci pose, like whatever that Vitruvian Man pose is. And they were all kind of studying me. And I was just up for display. And that's at least how I remembered it. And then after being regressed back, after doing some trauma healing, I think that I was in a ship near Orion, where I think one of my lifetimes were. And they were just kind of studying like how I was, but it was nothing like evil or weird. It was just very neutral. Like, oh, but I think what was happening was something bad was happening to me in my bedroom, in my sleep. And they kind of took my consciousness out of my body, like trying to actually help me. But at the time, it was really scary, obviously. But it was through trauma, I think, was one of the first times I was open to those kind of things. Yeah.
You know who took you?
No.
Did you ever see them?
I mean, I saw them in my vision. I don't know how reliable it is because I think the vision's changed as my consciousness has changed, which is super weird. But I know the energy behind it was very neutral. It was not like evil. And it wasn't even, I would say, super loving. It was more like just benevolent, but also like observational. If any kind of energy, I would say it's more like, more like Nordic energy, or maybe Orion, something like that. But I really don't know. I don't know.
For you, when you started kind of focusing in on the energy that these situations brought, how did you deal with it? Because a lot of people out there have trauma over not knowing how to deal with that sort of contact.
Yeah. I mean, I guess number one, because it was just so normal. Like, I feel like my head was always in a fantasy because I, didn't like real life. So I had so many just weird experiences, and my life was more traumatic than these weird experiences. So they were almost like a reprieve for me in a way, and kind of fun and magical to think about. Even the scary ones was a break from my actual life, which I, at least in my perspective, felt was horrible. Maybe it didn't look so from like an outsider point of view, but no one ever knows what someone's really dealing with. But I mean, they were destabilizing. I obviously couldn't sleep for a lot of my life. Now I can sleep just fine. But that's such a good question. I would have to say there was like this deep knowing that I was okay and nothing could actually hurt me unless I let it hurt me. Like I knew that, and I knew not to fear them, but I feared them anyway. And I had this weird deep sense that I was connected to all of them, even if it was scary. Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's a really weird one. I mean, I was scared. I was scared. It was weird, but it was no more scarier than my real life or real human beings.
Do you think what you went through in your first couple of phases of life prepared you for this mission, this journey that you're on now?
100%. Like I had a lot of betrayal and a lot of rejection because I was very authentic as a child. My parents, took that as like I was too much. I've always been too much. And I, took that on too, which I'm trying to let go of now. And I think dealing with that in a way almost made me very brave to be myself publicly now and say whatever I want to say. Because I was like, well, can't get much worse than when I was young. And, I learned you can't really please people, whether you're faking it or being authentic. So I may as well just be authentic and I don't care if anyone makes fun of me. I've already been, oh, thank you, whoever just said that. I've already been to the lowest of lows, as far as sadness and loneliness goes. So I may as well try to find my people by being myself and sharing and trying to help people. Cause I never want people to feel as alone and as miserable as I felt and sometimes still feel, to be honest. And, if I can help people not feel alone and remember their power and their magic, then my life is complete. And, even though I'm saying this, I still struggle individually with connection. So I could be myself all day on here, but when it's one-on-one, I still get very hyper nervous about if the person's going to abandon me, if I say the wrong thing, if I'm my authentic self 100%, because that just feels like an extra layer of vulnerability. And that's something, to be transparent, that I'm still working on. Yeah.
Boy, that sounds familiar to me.
Does it?
I just don't let it out. I just don't. I try not to let it out, but yes, that resonates very deeply.
Yeah.
With my life too is you feel like you're always having to please people. You're always having to, be the lesser person, so to speak.
Yes. Yes. And I'm very I hate the word anxious attachment, but I'm trying to be more secure in my attachment now, but shoot, I lost my train of thought because I was like, oh, why did I say that? With people, I'm I hyper focus on what they are thinking about me instead of what I think about them. It's almost like I'm not comfortable in what I think about someone, and I'm way more comfortable being rejected than doing the rejecting, if that makes sense. So I'm almost more comfortable efforting or chasing for love. And I always think that I'm closer to someone than I really am. It's it's very hard to get through my exterior, but once you break through it, all of a sudden, I love you, human or relationship, whatever it is, I love the person. And all of a sudden, 5 months later, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even think they like me that much. We weren't even as close as I thought. I don't know. It's just such a mess. And I don't know if it's neurodivergence, it's, some autism or complex PTSD. I think it's all of it. And what I'm learning right now is that I have to go through the discomfort of being that authentic individually and letting the people that are meant to leave, even though it kills me. So it sucks.
Oh, trust me. I live it every day.
Yeah.
I live it every day. Yeah, man. I mean,
yeah.
This whole radio thing that I do, it's a facade, man.
Well, it's comforting in a way because you still have a separation.
It's really weird because the whole Dave Scott persona for my audience, they have one thought of me. If they knew who I really was, where I'm very introverted, I'm very scared of people, I'm very, how can I put it?
Sensitive.
I don't have a lot of strength.
Yeah, sensitive.
I'm very sensitive. They
Me
would
too.
have no clue, and I just kind of gave that up. But
Yeah.
I'm very open with my audience that I do suffer from depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm very open about that. So it is something that I'm resonating very much with you here. And I think That is, I think a lot of people will. When we return on Spaced Out Radio with author Dana Kippel, we're going to get into plasma intelligence. What is it about, and how does it affect the experience people have with the phenomena? This is going to be a great show. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio returns right after this. Hold on, I had to unmute you there. Okay, what was that?
Did I say something?
I don't know. You were talking and I had you muted.
Oh, God. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
I blacked out on everything. Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's so important that like we do say these things because some people don't think that they can be like successful or put themselves out there on social media. And it's like, you know, showing that you struggle, but still can have some success is very important because then everyone realizes they can have the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's famous in my life to me is I'm the guy who, in my personal life, I've always been the dude who's blamed for everything. Even if I have nothing to do with it, I'm the one who always gets blamed. And it's kind of a running joke now that I'm in my early 50s rather than when I was like in my 30s and 40s where I would get really upset. Or the other thing that happens is people are always telling me, you know, why don't you stand up for yourself? Why don't you got to be stronger. You got to be that man, you know, because I am in my daytime job, I am in a position of authority.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but when I do stand up for myself, I end up getting in more shit.
Yeah.
Than you know, like one person can say one thing, but then if I react, you know, and be the boss or call it out, I end up getting absolutely trounced over.
Well, that means you're around the wrong people.
Oh God, that's my entire life then.
Yeah, because we set our lives up to have those same people as our caregivers who do these same things that happen to us.
Oh, I know.
So it's like the way to get out of it is to actually face it and stand through that. And then when you heal that in your inner child, you start attracting different people. But it's a journey. Yeah.
Oh, very much so. This journey that I'm on is going to take about 15 different lifetimes to figure it out.
Mine has I could get into that. I mean, mine's taken many lifetimes that I remember. You know, in every lifetime I've been in that I remember, I've tried to release a book or like a something magic or, you know, an invention, and I always got killed or poisoned. So when I was writing my book, I had the worst fear. Like, this has been the worst year of my life. But I was like, something in my inner voice was like, this is the one lifetime where you're actually going to do it. Like, you've been working towards this for all your lifetimes, and your life will still continue after this and work towards more. And I trusted it, and I put it out there, and I'm not dead. So there, you know, action is the only way through some of these things.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Lynn Faith, welcome to SOR Chat. How are you? I'm really trying hard right now to hold back a sneeze. I don't think it's going to work.
Jeez. I need to shake my energy out. Am I on YouTube right now? I'm just punching the air. This is what they do in Africa, the shake dance, or what dogs do to shake off stress. So it works really well for me.
That's what I have dirty filth for, and the cats.
The
Gargoyle.
The gargoyle?
Yeah. Is that the gargoyle, Dirty?
Oh, dirty filth. I see. What is dirty filth? Is this drawing?
No.
What is this?
This is, damn it, cat. This is Mrs. Filth's dad's cat. This is Smokey. She's fat.
Hello.
Hi, Smokey. We're taking care of his 3 cats while he's busy with other things. Come on.
Hi, Smokey.
So all the cats are all wigged out right now because there's 3 new cats here.
Dirty Filth draws cartoons here.
I know I'm
Oh
loving
yes, I draw
it.
cartoons.
That's so cool. That is so aesthetically pleasing for neurodivergent people, I feel like, when you're listening to things.
Well, you're welcome.
I love watching
That's
drawings.
what I'm good at doing.
One of his biggest fans is Brandon Fugel, who owns Skinwalker
Oh,
Ranch.
yeah, I know him from LinkedIn. Funny. Brandon once texted me about plasma, actually.
Dirty Filth and him are like best buddies. They
Oh my
they even send each other Christmas presents.
Oh, that's so funny. You should tell him about, be like, I talked to the plasma girl.
I'll have to remember that.
He said that he thought the things around their ranch were, plasma of some sort. That's why he was
Hold on right there, guys. Dirty,
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you. Thank you tonight to Tim Mothman, Tim Senor and Amy for the great super chats. Here comes the second half hour. Here comes the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. All about plasma intelligence coming up. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much as we stay warm inside SOR headquarters while the snow blows outside. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Author Dana Kippel is here tonight. She's hanging on out with us to talk about her book, and what a good one it is. Because if you want to know more about yourself and your connections, it's called A New Force. Yes, it's her debut book, A New Force, Plasma, Consciousness, and the New Human Potential. And we're going to bring Dana on here right now. Dana, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
so excited
Plasma.
to be here.
Let's get into plasma. Plasma
Let's do it.
intelligence. What is it?
So plasma intelligence. Oh, my dog got excited. Plasma intelligence is an offshoot of plasma. For anyone who hasn't been listening, plasma is an expanded definition of plasma. It is a multidimensional, living, sentient fabric of reality. It is the vehicle for consciousness. It is not conscious itself. It is more like a cosmic mirror that consciousness is experiencing itself from, and also the intelligent clay that consciousness molds to create reality. And if you picture plasma as like this middle kind of neutral substance making reality, our consciousness creates with it, and then so does our higher self. So it helps connect us to our higher self. And when we're connected to what I call the multidimensional self, we can mold that clay better and create reality, co-create reality in more magical, fun ways. There's something called plasma intelligence, which Mary Magdalene called gnosis. It is this third space. It is, think of I think the words Vessia Pisces, Vesca Piscis. Think of two circles coming together, and it's like that, third little space in the middle that creates almost like an emergent third space out of it. It becomes almost like a wormhole, right? So when any two things come together, let's say me and you, we are creating a third intelligence. That space is a space of plasma intelligence, or what I call fourth dimensional plasma. When your consciousness is in that space, you can not only have psychic premonitions, telepathy, you create an emergent third reality that lives on, past you. It is like a creative imagination space. And there are ways to train yourself to always be in that space. Not always, I would say, you can be in it sometimes, but be in that space a lot, where you can, channel from your higher self. You can, learn telepathy. You can bend metal spoons. And it's all about being present, connecting with your heart, healing your trauma, learning how to feel your feelings authentically in every moment. It's very mundane human stuff that just sounds very fantastical. But yeah, plasma intelligence is just the third space in which our consciousness is kind of syncing with plasma, and we have an expanded perception. And my dog is loving this right now. So,
what kind of dog do you have?
I have a corgi. She's a little bit famous on my Instagram. She likes to bark to confirm things.
Very cool. We can live with that.
Yeah.
Is plasma intelligence its own life, like the phenomena?
Is it on what?
Is it its own life?
I would say that I can't say that for sure. What I can say is it seems to be like this living organism, inorganic and organic. It seems like it's paradoxical. It has receptive qualities. That's why I relate it to the feminine more than the masculine, but it is neutral at its core. It's kind of like there's like a symbol, the Shiva and Shakti symbol. I have to pull that up now just because I'll explain why this has to do with plasma. Okay, so I read about this in my book too. Hold on, I'll show you the symbol and explain why I'm even saying this. It's like a symbol of 9 triangles. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to figure out what it is. Hold on. Well, I can't find it, but there is a Shiva Shakti symbol of 9 triangles. And the point of it is the 9th triangle leans in the feminine. It leads, I think there's like one extra upside down triangle. And the point is that's what plasma is. It is neutral, but it is quasi-neutral, just like in science, because it leans a little bit into the feminine or a little bit into like the negative, like more electrons than positive. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Now I'm getting off key. What did you even ask me? I went on a channeling there.
Well, just if plasma intelligence is its own life form.
Oh, so yeah, I don't think any of us can really know because I feel like it was almost here, like just when consciousness was here or even before consciousness. I feel like it started out as sentience. It started out as almost like this neutral kind of feeling clay. And for all I know, one day it will become self-aware. But right now it seems like it almost like reflects our own consciousness. It is supportive for our consciousness to evolve, to learn. But is it itself conscious? No, but alive, I would say it is alive in like an inorganic way.
So how does it connect or tie to humanity or the human consciousness then?
Sure. Well, it's literally like the womb of all consciousness. So just like, we have an aura that's a bioplasmic aura, just like I said, how there's a plasma membrane around cells, just like the earth has a membrane around it that is plasma. It holds our crystallized consciousness. And just like plasma is in different gradients, think of a painting all made of plasma that we're in. Our consciousness can almost liquefy and go outside our bubble and visit other places. It's like plasma is the roadway and our consciousness is like the car that kind of is like the car needs a road, plasma is that road. It's like the cosmic ocean and we're like little fishies swimming in it, not realizing we're swimming in a sea of plasma. And the way it relates to our consciousness is that it reflects our consciousness. So let's say I can even relate this to a human, but let's say you see another being of consciousness. Let's say you see a demon. It is reflecting your state of consciousness. That is why you're seeing a demon. That is telling you more about you than about what you're seeing. So plasma, now that we know plasma has a reflective layer, we can know by all of our judgments towards what we see, whether it's a paranormal thing or whether it's you and I'm having a judgment about you. That judgment is really something within me that I have to work on, no matter what it is. And that is a great way to learn about yourself when you become cognizant of that. And the most amazing part is once you realize that plasma has multiple layers and that underneath this reflective layer is a neutral layer of intelligence, of 5th dimensional consciousness, 5th dimensional intelligence, of our higher self, God, Plato's realm of perfect forms, whatever you want to call it, you see through the reflective layer and you can channel inventions, you can channel information that without a bias. And it's just like when, I can look at you with no judgment. I really can see you. And that is what happens when Danica. I'm going to close the door. Hold on.
She wants to be a part of the show.
I know. She's messing with me. Danica, be quiet. Stay
Gotta love it when the dog wants to talk as well and give her opinion. I think that's actually kind of sweet. I do.
All
Some
right.
people don't like it. I'm a fan of it.
Oh, Danica barking up a storm. So yeah, whatever I was saying.
No problem. No problem at all. All right.
That's not always the consciousness.
Well, I mean,
There's other ways with
No.
UFO. Yeah.
I mean, do we really know the power of the mind and where the mind can take us? I mean, because that is a large, part of what we're all trying to figure out here as well.
I don't think we know where the mind can really take us. This is actually something very interesting. So, I mean, I could use the dragonfly or a butterfly. I'm trying to think which sounds cooler. But like, okay, I'm just going to use a caterpillar and a butterfly. So when you look at a caterpillar, this is very generic, but when you look at the caterpillar, nothing about it tells you it's going to be a butterfly at face value. We are right now all like little caterpillars, and we have the potential to all be butterflies. We don't even realize our capabilities. And it's only through going through that chrysalis period, that dark period, facing ourselves, healing our trauma, feeling our feelings. And I know that sounds really mushy gushy and very annoying, but even Carl Jung said, like, the scariest thing man doesn't want to do is face himself. Or like, the words know thyself. Or, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Diving into that chrysalis is what turns us into the butterfly. And there are so many capabilities of the mind that we all miss out on because we're too scared to face ourselves. There are like magic powers that I don't even know, that you don't even know, that we have the potential to have. And this connects to the UFOs and plasma, if you let me go on a tangent. I believe that these plasmoids in the sky, there's a huge distraction with them. So as I said, plasma is the vehicle for consciousness. There are these plasmoids, these orbs in the sky, whether you're seeing them as ghosts or fairy lights or will-o-wisps, or whether, they're right in front of you or in the sky. They are plasmoids, and it is higher beings of consciousness. It is our higher selves, what I call our future ancestors. And they are they're only here, these interdimensional beings that are our family. They're telling us they love us and they support us, and they're showing us our potential right there. They're showing us, hey, we know how to harmonize with plasma to go through different dimensions, to, send messages to you. We need you to meet us on this level. We need you to learn how to harmonize your consciousness with plasma, to work with plasma in more harmonizing ways rather than trying to control it with fusion or fission. And that is all they want us to know. And I think it's very interesting because they're almost showing us our capabilities, and we're just making all these other fantastical stories about it when it's just as simple as they just want to tell us our power, or else they would have told us more by now. It's been like 60 years. Like, come on. It's about us. They're just mirroring our own power.
As they marry that power, though, where are they trying to take us? Like I've talked to so many different people who are very much in tune with themselves, in tune with their mind, body, soul.
Yes.
One question that nobody can really answer is, what is the message that we are trying to get? What is the message from the phenomena or our consciousness that is trying to elevate us to become better human beings or better souls for the next realm of life?
Yeah, and I have a great answer to that, and it's not the one maybe anyone wants to hear, but it's different for everyone. It is based on our own conscious interface, and plasma reflects something different for every single human, and anyone who says they have the answer is wrong. Even what I'm saying, take with a grain of salt, everyone, but you know you and I know me, and if my higher consciousness is communicating with me, only I can figure that out through my own journey, just like you can. We can't really answer the questions for each other. All we can do is really go on personal journeys and interface with these beings and be brave and ask questions and dive into what our magic powers can be individually. Some of it is collective. Some of it will be crossover. Sharing our experiences might help unlock something in someone else. All we can do is share our experience and go on our inner journeys and have discernment and know that no one's truth is our truth. But it doesn't mean it's not our truth either. It can be a fractal of our truth, and we have our own truth. Both can be true. Both can be false. So, it's just about all of that.
Well, what is truth, though? Because
truth is relative.
But your truth is different than my truth, which is different than anybody else's truth.
Yeah.
You know, how do
Yeah.
we find what the true truth is, Dana? Like
Yeah.
the truth that we are supposed to follow, because
Sure.
obviously your path is going to be much different than my path.
Yeah.
You know, your life has been much different than mine.
Yeah.
Okay. In every facet of it. So
Yes.
is it one truth we're trying to find,
No.
or is it our own truth?
No, I think it's individual truths. And I think that's what the next wave of consciousness is going to be about. It's about how to hold space for everyone's different truth. You know, this convergence. Truth is a river. Truth is in flux. Truth changes every day. God is change. That's what the parable of the sower book, the sci-fi book, said too, that God is change. Truth is never solid. It is never fixed. Just think of your entire life. The universe is alive. It is plasma. It is growing. It is a flower of life. It is a flower of life. And all we can do is interface with it every day with our authentic consciousness and grow and
Right.
evolve. And, you know, come together with respect that our truths are all different, which is the hardest part of humanity.
Yeah, it is a very difficult time trying to find out where our path takes us. Spiritually speaking, though, should we be looking for it? Because sometimes when you enter the realm of the phenomena, the phenomena really doesn't care. It's going to take you to places that you don't know or
Sure.
never expect.
Yeah, which is the fun part. That's what I call the mystery, or what some people call God. Like, what I think is so fun is that mystery of what comes back to you. I think that all we can do is control our resonance and, you know, healing our trauma. And as I say, feeling authentically and understanding if something comes to us, it's for our highest evolution and not to give into fear. And to, you know, hold a neutral standpoint on a lot of the things we see, not jumping to conclusions, journaling about it. It doesn't mean we're not going to see scary things. I'm not some like toxic positivity freak. Like, I still, you know, have seen scary things, but I have a different perspective on those things now. It's almost like when you laugh in the face of those, they kind of dissipate. Or, you know, when you, just like in every horror movie where when you face the monster, it goes away and it's not so scary anymore. So yeah, but you said something, I missed it.
What natural phenomena might already demonstrate plasma-like intelligence?
Yeah, I would say the closest thing right now in science is dusty complex plasma, which has self-organizing properties. There's something called the Kordylewski clouds, which are intelligent plasma clouds. Robert Temple wrote an amazing article or paper on it. I think it's peer-reviewed, with Chandra Wickramasinghe, that talked about how they're cosmic superbrains. And he also just published a new article on it. Basically how these clouds are almost like living, like they have like DNA strands, and that they resemble DNA strands and self-organization, you know, as smart as a brain. And there are ways to look at plasma dynamics, which I think tells us how the science of higher consciousness works. So that is the most amazing thing I've seen in science that can hint towards plasma being actually alive, is also plasmoids, how they move without heat signatures, especially in the UAP fields. There's something intelligent there. And even in like metals, there's something called the Jalea model. Lockheed Martin knows about it because they have patents on shape-shifting metal. There's, you know, what I call plasmatic metals. Plasma and steel have a lot in common. There, you know, there's these, when you ionize these metals, and, you know, the observer effect can actually affect these metals. So that to me shows that these, you know, plasmatic metals are affected by consciousness, just like plasma is affected by consciousness, so much so that the pilots have to be trained not to have coherent mindsets, or else they're scared their minds are going to affect the equipment. So it's pretty interesting.
Does the power of the mind actually have the ability to affect equipment, technology, etc.?
Yes, if you look it up, even I believe Ia Whiteley I interviewed about this. She was a space psychologist or something, but there is studies, and people can look it up, that they literally train pilots to have coherent mind, body, and souls because they're worried about their thoughts affecting these kind of stealth aircrafts, which is very interesting to me.
So basically, it's connecting your mind to the technology.
Yeah, and I think it's the beginning stages of, what these UAPs do that they probably worked backwards, but yeah. Like where higher beings of consciousness use these kind of plasma-like ships. And once the beings of consciousness aren't using them anymore, all of a sudden we don't know how to work them. Like, that metal ball, I don't know if that's real or not, but these metallic things that fall to earth and all of a sudden aren't working the same. We're never going to know how it works unless we know how to evolve our consciousness to harmonize with that metal or plasma.
Speaking of that, have you ever talked to someone who alleges to have flown the craft?
Talk to someone who alleges to have not who has flown the really stealthy ones. I've talked to just the psychologist who trained those people, and she's very open about talking about training their mindsets.
No, I'm saying alien contactees who claim to have flown the craft.
Oh, no.
Oh, you need to talk to Grant Cameron about that.
Okay.
He has written an entire book. I actually, a couple of years ago,
Tell
I used to run a ghost tour at our local museum.
Okay.
And this lady comes up to me and says, you're really into this. Could you help my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
She was like 12, 13 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept on seeing grays in her room and standing outside her second story window.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm staring at her and she's explaining things as a preteen, young teenager is doing her best with the giggles and the laughs in between.
Sure.
And I just looked at her point blank and I said, "You've flown the craft, haven't you?" And she gets this look of shock on her face and she goes, "Yeah." So what was it like?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "I don't know how to explain it." I said, "Well, where could you go?" She goes, "Anywhere I wanted."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, how did you know how to get there?"
Did she say something her feeling?
She said she goes, her hands were on, like, it's like sitting in a chair with high arm rests, and her hands were on these, I don't know if they were like orbs or balls or something, and she put her hands on there, and anywhere her mind, like, she wanted to go see the rings of Saturn, so she went there, and anywhere in the world, they would be there within a snap of a finger.
So I believe it as, I don't know how I know this, but I believe it has something to do with emotion and mind coherence. So what we're training to do and why we can't just materialize things right away from plasma to matter, from ether plasma to, like visible matter, solid matter, because that is how it works. It goes from like ether, and Eileen McCusick talks about this, from ether, what I call plasma to gas to liquid to solid. Literally, that's how matter is formed. The reason we can't materialize things so quick is because if we did that, the world would blow up because we have the craziest thoughts. We don't have control over all our thoughts. But when you are in these realms and you think about somewhere, you can go there right away. I do that in astral projection. I think of inside the moon and I'm there right now. So it would make sense to me at these other levels, that's how you do it. And I believe too, it has to do with kind of no resistance, like just believing you can and envisioning it. And you almost like are present and feeling it in your heart, and you'll just go there.
When you astral project, are you leaving your body or are you just mentally projecting it out there?
No, I would call it bilocation. So I'm here and there at the same time. And then, there's out of body, which is different. I've only done that a few times in my life. And I'm not a huge fan of going out of body.
I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, I can't control it. So when I did it, I didn't, it just happened.
No, I get that. The last time I astral projected was in 2018 when my nephew passed away, and I wanted to see where he was on the other side.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny because I got a park bench and he passed away on a park bench.
That's so interesting because as soon as you said that, I was thinking of a park bench, but I don't know if it's because you just said it. That's so strange.
Totally strange. That's the last time I've really done it.
That's
So
it.
I got to
Okay.
do it again.
Because it's like just what the girl said though. So as long as you have no resistance, you can astral project anywhere. It's creative imagination. It's just like I think about, I want to see inside Mars. I'll be there right now. It's just, and it's trusting your visuals, because the second you doubt it, you get in logic, and then it's game over.
Dana, you take some time here. We're going to go to break here. Author Dana Kippel, author of a book, A New Force. You could get it on Amazon as we speak. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. I lost track of time. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yes. Can't believe you have 178,000 people on Instagram.
I know. I don't know how that all happened this year. Isn't that crazy?
Well, you have 178,001 now because I just followed you.
Let me follow you back. Yeah, I literally at the beginning of the year had like 7,000 followers, and I started talking about all this stuff and it shot up out of nowhere, and I was so scared to talk about it.
Well, we're going to turn this. You take a break here. We're going to turn it over to Dirty Filth, because this is what we do. Hello, Filthy.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dirty.
Hello, Dave. How are you, Dave?
Good, Dirty.
Gonna go let the dog man out for a whiz?
Our guest is freaking awesome tonight.
Thanks, Dave.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Dana. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Just struggling mightily with Smokey here because she keeps trying to crawl onto the picture and crawl all over the place.
That is such a cool photo.
That's Carl doing his best Canadian impression.
Oh my God. With an icy.
Yeah, and I also have a picture of his other buddy Alan.
Oh my God.
Canadian things.
Have you ever made a real cartoon, like a TV cartoon?
No TV cartoons, but I just published my second book.
Oh, cool.
I do a calendar every year as well. And I have a friend, my accomplice. She turns my aliens into plushies.
What?
Yes. Here, I'll show you. Here's Carl with his swimsuit. Let me get this a little bit bigger.
Oh my God.
There's Carl with his swimsuit.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That is so cool. And wait, what's the book called?
It's called Cryptid Cartoons.
Okay.
It's
it up.
This is the book.
Oh, Cryptid Cartoons. Whoa. Have you heard of the book? Cryptid Cartoons. Hold on, I'm looking at. Have you heard of the book? Oh God, what are they called? I feel like you would like this. Hold on. Shit. Dark Matter Monsters, Cryptids, Ball Lightning, and the Science of Secret Life Forms.
No, but I'm going to go look it up right now.
Yeah, it's like such an interesting. This guy was a PhD who wrote it. Obviously, Ball Lightning's plasma, so I'm obsessed with it. But it is a really out there book. I actually have to reread it again. I have it in my library.
Simeon Heim, apparently. Someone in the chat says.
Yeah, that's who it is. I'm trying to read about him. Oh, he talks about neutrinos. So, like, there's so much with neutrinos. I can't even speak on it yet because I'll sound stupid. But, like, I've channeled some stuff about it, and I'm in the future going to be researching that. But there's so much with, like, neutrinos and plasma that I have not dove into yet. But he talks about some neutrino stuff, which is cool. Oh, they talk about Skinwalker Ranch. That's so funny.
Oh yeah, I messaged Brandon one day, and I do a cartoon of Skinwalker Ranch, and like, do you want this? Do you want this? It's just sitting in my pile of artwork, gathering dust. He's like, you'd send that to me? I'm like, did Bob Bigelow own Skinwalker Ranch? He's like, that's funny. So,
oh my God.
I sent it to him, and then I've been sending him drawings every year. And he sent me a book which is kind of cool because I know that he's a big book collector.
Uh-huh.
And he sent me a book and he wrote in it. He's like, "Hey, Klaus, thanks for bringing the ranch to life and everything." And he sent me a DVD of the first season. This is when the first season came out.
Uh-huh.
And he sent me a T-shirt, which was actually pretty neat. I don't want to wear it because I haven't seen it on the website before, so I think I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
You can wear it.
But I think it was really neat because he's a big book collector, and for a book guy to give a book to somebody else,
Yeah.
that's a pretty high honor. Because between Mrs. Filth and I, we probably got like 1,000 books, and I just have a hard time trying to give a book away.
I'm obsessed with books. I have so many books. I have like 8 bookshelves. What is your favorite book?
Like a single book or a series? Oh, a single book, probably. The single book would be The Thief of Always by Clive Barker.
Whoa, what's that about?
About a boy who visits a mysterious house that you can have all the fun things in the world, but there's a cost to it in the end.
What? Wait, I'm gonna have to now look that up. Wait, what's it called?
The Thief of Always by Clive Barker. Hello, Mr. Gremlin.
Thief of Always. Okay, have you read the Seth books?
I have not.
The Seth books are really interesting. They're like they change your view on reality. They're really cool. It was required reading of the director of the people that worked on the movie Dark Crystal, which was really weird, but it's just like a cool channeled book series.
All right, guys, we got about 30 seconds left.
Have a good night, folks.
Thanks, Dirty. You're awesome. Dirty Filth, everybody. Big thank you tonight to Amy and Tim for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support. And of course, shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out here, and great Christmas items for you. Absolutely. Here we go, everyone. Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Our guest tonight, Dana Kippel, author of A New Force, which can be found on Amazon. We're going to bring her back momentarily. I want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Rexus. Rexus is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's bring in our guest. She's an author. She's an experiencer. She is looking for the signs of life within consciousness called plasma intelligence. Her name, Dana Kippel, and we're glad to have her here on the show tonight. Dana, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a lot of fun so far. So let's get right to it. You
Sure.
also believe that this plasma intelligence does help with communication with extraterrestrials.
Yes.
How does that work?
Okay. So this is a loaded question. So when I talk about plasma and communication with other beings, do you want to know how to connect with plasma to connect with the other beings? Or do you want to know more like how it changes how you interface with the beings?
I want both.
Okay. So basically, the first thing everyone needs to know is I'm sure people want to know more of how to connect with plasma. And I don't talk about this a lot. I am doing also a magic class, a live workshop on this December 8th. And the link is in my bio, or maybe you have the link somewhere for that as well. Plasma is actually very easy to connect with. All you have to do is set an intention that you want to connect with plasma and go into your body and get out of your thought. That is why transcendental meditation works so well for me, because I said a mantra that almost like hooked into my monkey mind or my ego mind, and I was able to drop into my body. Plasma is sensory. Plasma communicates through feelings. Yes, thoughts will come through, but you have to be in your feeling and emotional body and your sensory body using your olfactory system versus your logical thoughts. This is not any logic at all. Logic and consciousness is applied after. You almost have to get into your own sentience. And the problem with our own sentience is it is coded with survival and fear consciousness, because we don't know how to sit in the unknown. We don't know how, most of us don't know how to receive, which is why we deal with issues with abundance and issues with magnetizing things to us. There's a few ways to do this. I write about something called negative capability in my book, which is how to get in the mode of not reaching or grasping, but also sitting in the realm of paradox. And there's more of that about that in my book. There's also something called creative imagination. I think it's by William Keats coined the term, but it is another way to kind of connect with this realm by using creative imagination. Another way, as I just said, is very easy. It is basically just finding any way to get into your heart coherence, into coherence with your mind, body, and soul, and out of your logic. That and setting the intention if you've never before to connect with plasma. Now, I didn't even have to do that. All I set an intention to do was that I wanted to feel better and connect with my inner self, and plasma came to me. So I wouldn't say I'm like I'm not the like sorcerer on like how to make your first contact with plasma, because that would be a lie, because it came to me. But all I know is if you set an intention, it will come to you. Think about any like intent - ion. Any word that is - ion, you're communicating with the plasma. Creation. I'm blanking on, question. If you ask it a question, it will answer in different ways to you. So just kind of think about those words when you're pondering on how to connect with plasma.
So what is the difference then between plasma and spirit?
So I don't think there's any difference. I think what they call the Holy Spirit is what I'm calling plasma. I think plasma is literally just a new rebrand and name for this thing that has been existing since before time, where, they called it, dream, what do they call it? And they called it everywhen. They called it orgone energy, animal magnetism, prana, chi, ki, energy, 0 point energy, universal stream, Akashic realm. You can call it anything. The difference is plasma actually means to mold in Greek. It is molded by our consciousness, and it's literally being studied in science. So this is just a new term for something that, technically I would say has no human name. These are just, but by adding the name plasma and looking at plasma's properties and dynamics in science, we can actually learn like a new facet of how this works. Because when you call it energy, you can't say, it has reflective qualities. Like there's just certain things you don't know how to explain, that calling it plasma can help explain more, especially by learning about literal plasma in science. Now,
So you're just using newer terminology for the increase of spirituality.
I would say I'm using new terminology for people who are sick of spirituality and sick of science and are looking for a more middle path of metaphysics, which kind of includes mental health, science, and spirituality, and makes it more tangible. For instance, like in my world, in plasma world, you don't have to be a perfect human. You can be authentic. You can make mistakes. You can curse. You can mess up you can be this like sacred fool, I call it, or this star fool. And plasma's not judging you. There's no like hierarchy. No, there's no ascension to get to. It's just learning how to be like your authentic, weird self. Plasma wants us to have fun. It wants us to play. It wants us to make mistakes and take risks and, continue to better ourselves, but not in a way that's like exhausting or shameful. And sometimes we get stuck in those things when we talk about spirituality, in my opinion, or it's just not as tangible. Like this is like, okay, plasma is literally studied in science. And oh my God, is it this energy that has literally been talked about for thousands of years? And now we're studying it. Like to me, that is profound, that we are for the first time ever studying this thing that we never really brought into science before. So Yeah, it's a new term for something that's been around for, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just bringing tangibility to all of these things that haven't been able to be explained, or maybe that we see when we're, in these realms, when we see these kind of plasmatic fluid substances, these plasma balls, these beings. I'm bringing, explanation to why these things are happening and what they might be made out of. And the word plasma seems to be resonating with a lot of people. So, and it came to me. I wish I thought of it, but I didn't. Yeah.
So in your experience then,
Mm-hmm.
with this new wave of spirituality, do you believe then that it is bringing more people towards you and towards the consciousness effort that may not have been there before because of the reputation of spirituality?
Yeah, it definitely brings new people in. I talked to a lot of engineers and plasma physicists, and they have all said that there is some kind of paranormal connection with plasma that they don't feel comfortable talking about publicly, that these have been told privately to me. And I'm talking about like tens of 20s, maybe even 100 messages from people like this, who've in the military too, who've worked with plasma, and I go into this in my book, the second chapter, about ether and how it connects to plasma, and how when they first discovered plasma, they called it radiant matter in the 1800s. And Sir William Crookes talked about how this radiant matter had paranormal properties. And he was like warning scientists, like, don't be fearful. Like, you really should look into this. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on that I can't explain. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, let's call it luminiferous ether. And they were like, oh no, luminiferous ether, we're going to disprove. And they did a total stupid test that disproved it because they did the test wrong. It was called the Michelson-Morley test. And it was testing for a stationary ether. It was not testing, for this like moving dynamic plasma ether. And then all of a sudden in 1928, after the FBI was created, they called it this thing plasma. All of a sudden, this fourth state of matter. But all of a sudden, all the paranormal properties and the mystical properties of radiant matter, Tesla worked with it. He wasn't even allowed to call it plasma. He called it radiant matter, radiant energy. All these were two different things he worked with. All these things were stripped away, and it went into secrecy, and it went into, national security. Nick Cook, who's a aviation journalist, a defense journalist, talks about this, that plasma was literally suppressed because it has a lot of properties and it has to do with consciousness, and no one's ready to talk about that. And it also had issues of national security. And it also is the same thing now we're using for, nuclear fission and fusion. And what I love getting into is it's almost like the mythology of the unicorn, where, a pure maiden has to approach it for it to show its magical qualities. The unicorn is plasma. And just like in the unicorn tapestries in mythology, where these people are, the unicorn is putting its horn in the river and cleansing the water. Plasma cleanses water. Plasma is cleansing the air of carbon right now. You can look these things up. Plasma is being harnessed and controlled by science to create fusion and fission. We are not harmonizing with it. And the problem with that is that we are caging the unicorn instead of letting her reveal her magical qualities, because she wants to work with our consciousness. Plasma wants to work with our consciousness. It wants to support us. It does not want to be used and caged for fission and fusion. And I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on that, but I know I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, because I don't know why else I'd be saying this stuff, because I have no financial incentive with that stuff. If anything, it would get me in trouble.
Let's ask you this question then. Do you think plasma allows any non-human intelligence to interact with our world without reading
Yes.
or needing physical bodies or craft?
1,000,000%. So plasma, once again, sits in the fabric of reality. It encases every bit of consciousness ever. So, just like it encases you and our bioplasma aura and our, fourth dimensional aura layer, every being of consciousness that comes through is cloaked. Picture like it coming from like an event horizon or a black hole, like from this like fifth dimensional space. It has to go through the event horizon, this darker area, because the event horizon is actually dark. The light on the end is not the event horizon. And then it's cloaked in this plasma and comes here. So everything, plasma is like the glue to all timelines, dimensions, worlds, and everything is communicating through this, interstitial substance of plasma. So if we learn how plasma works, we can learn how to communicate with these beings better, knowing about that it's reflective, that it reflects our subconscious. So all these beings first approaching us will be reflecting our subconscious, and how to get through that to the truth of who is visiting us. Is it me from another timeline? Is it a traumatic memory? Is it someone sending bad energy to me? Is it my higher self? Is it my dad who passed away? There's many things visiting us. I don't claim to know all of these things. I just know that they're encased in plasma, and there is a lot of benefits to learning about that for your own mental health, on how to interface with these beings when knowing that they're encased in plasma.
Do you think these intelligences want to communicate with us, or are they forcing communication with us?
No, I think they want to communicate. I think, once again, I think all these beings are for our highest good. And I'm not saying that there's no negativity in the universe. I've obviously experienced that, but I, once again, think it's only what's reflective in us. So I think fear is actually human created. And all these, when we see the beings of fear, they're not fake. I'm not saying these experiences aren't real. I've had them. I know many people who are abductees, or like have had, very negative or scary experiences. I call those fourth dimensional informational experiences. They're more archetypal and informational. They actually hold trauma that we need to heal ourselves, and they're resonating with us. And then there are what I call intelligent fifth dimensional experiences. That is where these actual conscious beings are coming from. The informational experiences actually aren't conscious, even though they seem conscious. They're more like memories, like ghosts in the fourth dimension that we can see sometimes as a Bigfoot or a cryptid. But the thing is, this is where it gets complicated. We can also see these intelligent fifth dimensional beings as that, because it might be resonating with something in our consciousness that we're comfortable seeing that, or not comfortable seeing that, but it might still have a message for us. And if we haven't worked through that trauma, we can't see, these intelligent beings or these ideas maybe they want to give us, which is why when people heal trauma, these things kind of fall away. So I just think it's really interesting. I don't remember what I was saying now, but that these all, but the point is that maybe these informational beings have a control factor or want to control us because they're not conscious. They're literally our own selves trying to control ourselves, which we do all the time. They're reflecting that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that it's not a conscious thing. That is more like fear-based, but very real. Then these intelligent beings, all they want is for us to grow and evolve. And honestly, the informational beings do too. It is non-duality at its finest. Nothing is bad or good. It is what we make it. And when we learn that, my life at least freaking changed, because I felt like I had my power back. And there's a reason that many people in the world don't have these negative experiences. It's not like they're masterfully protected. It's that they're resonating different. So when we learn that we have autonomy and resonating different, and also not feeling guilty if we do have these negative experiences, because it just means that something's trying to come through that needs to be healed or worked through. It makes me feel less crazy. I don't know about you.
Well, it makes me open my eyes at least. Let's throw in an audience question here. Amy is kicking things off tonight. And
yes.
She is asking if you could explain upsight vision to the audience here.
Yeah. So I write about this in my book too. I talk about all these like magical evolved senses that are coming through, like synesthesia, for instance. Synesthesia is literally seeing this plasma field when your consciousness gets cross-wired. It's like, the letter A is green, or the letter A smells like a lime. It's kind of cross-wiring of your senses. And it's because we are synergizing more with this plasma field, and we're beginning to sense in different ways, and more people are getting that. Upsight vision is an evolved visual sense. The term is coined by Tom Matt, and he has what is called upsight vision. There's a peer-reviewed paper by the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which was published 2 months ago, where he has seen actual holographic images in front of him. He is not hallucinating. These are real images that he has seen in his field of vision. They're not his imagination. And what he can do is he can see in people's what I call bioplasma field. He thinks it's plasma too. He sees in your aura, he sees your subconscious as archetypes and images. So he gives readings where he can see what's in people's subconscious, which you can't usually see unless you have upsight vision or unless you're very self-aware. So he also, himself sees these beings of consciousness. Instead of maybe in our imagination, they are right in front of him. And he saw like these avian bird people. He'll see like moving images. He'll see like past images, future images. And it's just like, yeah, it's playing out right in his field of vision as these like transparent holographic images. And it is a very real thing that hundreds of thousands of people are experiencing. And it also comes through osmosis, because when I started talking to him more about it and met him, I started getting it. And then I shut it down because I was like, I'm going to go crazy. I cannot have upside vision. And I set a boundary with whatever world I was in there. But yeah, the coolest part is I feel like when we get these almost like magic powers, which are really real and they're really interesting, when we're around each other talking about them, we give each other them, which I think is so cool. And this is like real. It's real. It's really cool. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
If plasma can hold structural patterns, could those patterns act like a life form of consciousness?
I would be stupid to say definitely not. Maybe I would call it more, as I said, like sentient or
right,
informational. I don't like using the word conscious because to me it's, but like, what is conscious, right? Like in a way, I do say this in my book. I think consciousness is kind of a silly term because it's like consciousness is just a system. I call these like higher, I don't like saying the word higher either. These fifth dimensional higher self beings, whatever I say higher, as more intelligence. I like the word awareness, that they're an awareness. I think consciousness in our third dimension is just, a survival consciousness. It's a consciousness system that lets us navigate reality. And then there's fourth dimensional consciousness, which is maybe what I would call these informational beings. So I guess you can call them consciousness in a way. It's a paradox, and I'm probably like making myself wrong and right in the same sentence. But sure, like I just like calling them informational more, because I think that the information is different than like human consciousness, which seems to be attached to this fifth dimensional realm. And I believe that these more patterns of consciousness are not attached to that realm. They're more within our own kind of timeline, as I said, like ghost imprints, ghost patterns. But some people might call it consciousness, and I don't really know. It's not my place, I guess. Maybe I need a PhD.
We got 2 minutes to go. Let's go to another audience question here. Let's go to Joe in California. I have a small blue lights that fire off in the woods around my place. Is that plasma?
I would say definitely, but obviously I can't guess unless I was there. But plasma comes in all kind of colors and sizes and lights. It could be ball lightning if it's during like a thunderstorm, or it could be just like a weird anomalous phenomenon. But the question is like, what do you think it is? Like, if you feel like you're having a conscious connection with it, a heart connection, chances are it might have a being of consciousness kind of like remote viewing you through it or trying to communicate with you. And maybe it doesn't feel conscious. Maybe it just feels like a phenomena. So I would really trust yourself in what it is. But most of those things are plasma. Lights, like lightning's plasma. Electricity is effing plasma. We don't even know what electricity is. It's plasma. So it's really just you're seeing the fluorescence coming off of plasma from a higher energy exchange, just like the northern lights. And they call them will-o-wisps in mythology, or fairy lights. Yeah, I would say yes.
Are you a believer in the fairy realm?
Oh, I think I'm like a part fairy. I think I'm a believer in all mythology because I think I think anything you can imagine is real. There's a quote about that. And I'm obsessed with fairies. I'm definitely part fairy. I believe in fairies and dragons and Bigfoot and Grey. I believe in everything. Everything is real.
Oh, me too. Me too. Especially Bigfoot. That is Bigfoot has turned in the last couple of years into my complete.
I have a Bigfoot story.
Passion. We're going to learn your Bigfoot story when we come back.
Okay.
You'd love my area.
I can't wait to hear yours. Yeah.
My area is creepy. Yeah. It's like mini Skinwalker Ranch. I've talked to Brandon Fugel about it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sorry.
And it's just, it's very weird. Has everything from aliens to ghosts to UFOs to Sasquatch to all sorts of sprites and spirits around there.
I believe, yeah, there's just some areas that are more active. And, you know, there's a woman named Helena Resner and then Andrew Collins. They know a lot about like activity and plasma and, you know, cryptids and why all these things are more active. And the Native American mounds, they talk a lot. And then Greg Little, he wrote a book about archetypes and plasma. But them three, I would have anyone refer to for that. I wish I knew more about that.
I want you to hold on right there. We're going to get out of here in about 10 seconds. Okay. We have Dana Kippel here for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. The plasma conversation continues.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're here.
Hello. It's so funny when I talk about this stuff, my voice speeds up.
You're doing great.
I'm telling you, it's like I hate saying channeling, but like my multidimensional self or higher self starts talking, and then I just like speed up my voice. So funny.
We all do that because we get excited about the answer.
Exactly. Passion. Plasma passion.
Extreme passion.
Extreme plasma passion. Plasma is also Kundalini. Speaking of, that's your plasmatic energy and your plasma Taurus. It's a mix of plasma and consciousness, actually, in my opinion. But yeah. That's
very cool.
Yes.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. Are you having fun? Are you entertained?
I'm having a blast here.
Oh, good. Yay. Woo. It's just so beautiful. I feel like how it all melds together, like mental health, plasma, science, spirituality, metaphysics, magic. It's to me, it just feels like plasma glued it all together. Whereas like mental health has not always been brought into the equation, but that's what we literally all deal with as humans.
Right.
So it's just, I think what's more beautiful than like plasma reminding us that the only way to work with it and get our magic is to heal ourselves and heal our trauma. Like that doesn't seem like a coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Yeah. Like what?
I don't know if it's working or not, but.
Well, it works if you work it. Huh?
What's that?
I said it works if you work it.
Yeah, it's finding the time to work it.
It is, but you can find the time for anything if you really want to.
Very true. Very true. I'm just full of excuses.
It is. It's stories we tell ourselves because it keeps us safe, but that's okay because there's things I'm ignoring as well. Which I need to work on. Someone said, would you say consciousness is like the wool and plasma is the loom that spins the lattice, I don't know, of reality? I would say that consciousness is the wool and plasma is the loom that spins. I would say that's correct. It's an interesting metaphor.
That's Luscious Jules. She's awesome.
Yeah. I love how people make their own connections. Because that's why my book is 700 pages. There's just so many connections. And I wish I was smart enough to like remember everything I wrote because there's so many cool connections that like, I just don't remember writing that just came through me. I have to like read over my own book. So annoying. Yeah, I did. But like the annoying part is like I want to like just remember it all. I mean, I will say if you ask me a question, I'd probably remember it. But like there's just so many cool sentences and like I just wish I could regurgitate them on here and it's not how I work, I guess.
Oh, whatever's comfy for you.
Yeah, people just have to read the book. That's why I really hope people read it, because there's just so much. There's so much more in there than what I'm saying. Like, that's so much more elegant too, because I was able to like edit it and like think it through linearly. Because when I talk on here, you know, I do jump around, and I know people still understand it, but yeah, the book's like its own experience. I feel like it's like a textbook. Yeah.
We got just under a minute to go here.
Okay, cool. Yes, I'm excited to say my Bigfoot story. I'm curious what you're going to think of it.
Oh, I'm excited now.
Yeah. Yes. And it actually, it's Bigfoot and an alien in the same 2 days. These experiences, they were in Asheville, North Carolina. So
I got buddies there.
Oh, really?
My guest tomorrow night is from Asheville.
No way. Well, you'll have to ask them about this. Someone wants me to read the table of contents. Can I read it out loud?
Not yet, because we're coming back in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
So thank you tonight to Walter, Amy, and Tim for the super chats. Greatly appreciate that. If you're not a member yet, you can become a member on our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you did. And shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. Here we go, everybody.
Ooh.
We're into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's all about cosmic plasma and consciousness. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives, they're always free on every major podcast network, YouTube, and much, much more. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. We have Dana Kippel for another 30 minutes here on the show. And what we're doing here is we're going to get into her Bigfoot story. But first, we want to remind you about her book, which is called A New Force. It's like 700 pages of you opening up your cosmic mind to plasma consciousness. It's a good one. Find it on Amazon. Dana, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Yes, I have signed copies, and then it comes down to Amazon in color and black and white. And someone just wanted me to read the table of contents quick. It's very quick read. It's a way quicker than my book because it's only 6 chapters. There is chapter 1, what is plasma? Chapter 2 is the secret history from ether to plasma. 3 is plasma, the expanded definition. 4 is a new myth of God. Chapter 5 is plasma intelligence, a new way to navigate reality. And chapter 6 is the divine child of emergence, the star and the fool. And they are all very fun to read.
That's awesome. And then absolutely awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Okay, and really quick, this is just crazy. I have to bring this up because someone talked about the blue lights before I get into the Bigfoot talk. There is a book. It is very hard to find online. It is called The Will-O-Wisps. And it is literally about these sentient orbs that are definitely plasma. And it says the will-o-wisps come from outer space and threaten to destroy the world. The politicians and generals are helpless until Carla learns how to talk to the will-o-wisps. And when she learns how to talk to them, she realizes that they don't want to destroy the world, and that our fear was kind of ruining the whole thing. And I think, and this was written in like 1990 by someone in Australia. The book's almost impossible to find. It's out of stock. I have a copy. And I think there are so many crazy connections with plasma in it. And if anyone can find it, it's just the most, to me, I read it and I was like, oh, I'm right. But either way, I just think it's cool. And then another great, no, I'm going to stop there. Okay. I'll talk about Bigfoot now.
All right. I want your Bigfoot story.
Yeah, let's get into Bigfoot. Let's just relax here. So this summer, so yes, I had a very hard year. Unfortunately, my dad had a horrible fall last year in December. He was on blood thinners. He's 80, and he went into a coma and then ended up dying on January 23rd of this year. And then I started writing my book full time, and I moved in with my mom, and I lived with my mom for the last 9 months to write my book, so I didn't have to work another job. And now I'm able to live off it. Thank God. Thank you, plasma. And during this time, I needed a break, and I wanted to finish the last chapter of my book, and I got an Airbnb in Asheville, North Carolina, all by myself. Was not in the best mental state because I also was very scared I would get killed for writing my book, which, you know, was just a very big paranoia I had, and I'm obviously alive. So, you know, I think that would have been a self-fulfilling prophecy if I didn't work it through in therapy. And in Asheville, North Carolina, I was in a tiny home, and I was going to sleep, and all of a sudden I wake up. It's like 2:30 a.m. and I'm not joking. I don't know if it was like a Yeti or a Bigfoot, but there is just this cute, large Yeti white Bigfoot in my bed, like this, just staring at me. And the light is coming in from the driveway. And it was like almost like projected light. And it was just this Bigfoot of projected light. Like, and it was like my dad's energy in the Bigfoot. It was just kind of like, hey, like it didn't say that, but it just had that energy. Wow. And then I blinked, and it was still there. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm not on drugs. I'm not drinking. Like, I was like, what? But I didn't feel scared. It was more just like, wait, I'm double taking, and it's still here, and it's still going like this. Like it has a sense of humor, clearly. And then after about, I'm not joking, like 30 seconds, and I was just in shock. So I didn't move. I was like, but I like knew it was like my dad's energy coming through as this Bigfoot. Weird. It dissipated, and all of a sudden, like it kind of faded away slowly. And to this day, it still feels like a weird dream. I know it was not a dream. This was very real. So weird stuff happens in Asheville. And then the next day, I was finishing my book, and I was like, you know what? Like, I have something called visual snow. I see everything pixelated. And I was like, with my visual snow, sometimes, you know, if I call in certain beings of consciousness, they can materialize in front of me. Very rare, but it can happen. Because it's almost like they pixelate. And I don't do it a lot because it sometimes makes me nervous because I'm still like getting used to visual stuff. And I'm like, let me just try something new and stretch my consciousness like I'm writing about. Like, let me embody what I'm teaching. And I look out and I do this thing called gazing. And it's where you don't focus on anything. You kind of let your eyes relax. And I gaze at the hill. And I was like, I would love for, you know, any being of consciousness that wants to show itself to me to show itself to me. And all of a sudden, I crap you not, this tall blue being, almost like a gray alien if it was stretched out, but it was blue. It was like against this fence, and it was just standing there, and it was frozen. And then all of a sudden, a few more were standing on a fence. They were all lined up against a fence, frozen. And it's like they were a frozen picture, but the picture was alive. Like it was telling me things, and it was giving me feelings. And I can't remember what it was now. I definitely wrote it down, though, through the frozen picture. And it just was clear as day on this hill. It was almost like just this reality kind of popped up in my reality, like beyond the veil. And I just was like looking at it for like probably 10 minutes. And then it went away. Once again, I was on 0 medication, 0 alcohol, 0 drugs. And then it went away. And I was like, wow, this world is weird. And anyway, those were my 2 stories. And it was just strange.
That might be one of the weirdest Bigfoot stories I've ever heard, by the way. That it's laying on your bed. You're the, hey, sister, what's going on?
Literally.
What did the energy feel like?
Whimsical. Whimsical, but intense. Whimsical, but intense. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And your alien experience,
yeah,
with the blue guys, what do they look like?
Just very tall, skinny, blue aliens, big eyes. Kind of, as I said, kind of like elongated grays, but blue. But they weren't grays. I I wish I maybe I wrote it down what my experience was, because I literally don't remember. Let's see if I wrote down any notes about Blue Alien. Let's see. This would have been in June. The color, no. Well, I don't see anything. I definitely wrote stuff on it though. Maybe I wrote it in my book. I have no idea. I can't find it. I'm very sad.
All right. Ready for more questions from our audience?
Yes. I'm
Go
still
to Uncle Remus. Dana, what's your thoughts on plasma fire? Example, Paradise, California, Maui, and LA. Cars melting, houses pulverized, boats in the harbor burnt up, and most trees unaffected.
Interesting. No one's ever asked me that. I mean, yes, fire is definitely a plasma. And there has been a lot of fires. I will say it is very strange that we've had a lot of those fire things happen. I don't know if over the last 100 years, if that's normal or if there's been an uptick. Either way, it's very unfair and very horrible. You know, I'm not going to say there's not weather manipulation. Do I think that's what it was? I would have to say I would be like 50-50 on that. And otherwise it just being like a natural occurrence, but maybe, you know, just like there's more solar activity, there's obviously more plasma activity in every sense of the word right now, because obviously solar flares are plasma. And all of it raises our consciousness, but that doesn't mean people should, you know, die. That's terrible. And, you know, I don't think we're supposed to understand the suffering of the world necessarily. And I write about suffering in my book, if you guys do want to know like my opinions on suffering and the bad things that happen. But I would just say maybe it's due to, upticks in, you know, a lot of energy, and unfortunately there's sometimes, you know, negative experiences that come out of it, just like hurricanes, just like thunderstorms. You know, lightning is plasma. Lightning kills people. Ball lightning has hurt someone. You know, there's radiation that can come off of, you know, scientific plasma or like x-rays. But I would say I wouldn't put too much fear into that, because every day, you know, there's death. There's always horrible natural disasters. I would try to put more energy into, you know, what we can do with ourselves and heal ourselves, and the fact that we can't control all the bad stuff that happens. And I don't know. I wish I could answer that one. Maybe Stephen Burns could answer that one.
Let's go to Joe. Is there good plasma and evil plasma, or is it just reflect on you?
I 1,000,000% think it just reflects you. I think good and bad are the dualities of a human, and beyond us is benevolence. And any being of consciousness that comes to us from a fifth dimensional realm has to be benevolent to use plasma. It's almost like plasma has a fail-safe. It is in every Hollywood movie ever where the evil person never can use that like machine, but the good person can, like in the movie Contact. Jodie Foster gets her job stolen from her, and this guy tries to use this like interdimensional communication device that can send someone to like Sirius or whatever, and then he dies trying to use the machine, and then she is in it and ends up going there and then sees her dad. You know, the alien comes as her dad, which once again is, you know, a plasma thing. I think that there's dark and light plasma, there's all kinds of plasma, but once again it's all reflecting us. So it really is just neutral at its core, but it's a paradox. It also is good and evil, because we're good and evil, but really evil is fear. And if we were able to change our relationship with fear, I think there actually literally could be world peace. And by world peace, I don't mean a utopia. I just mean that we don't have to like all kill each other if we can understand everyone's truths, and that some truths stem from fear, like some religious truths that are outdated, some violent truths are all stemming from fear. Those aren't real truths. You know, God doesn't want us to suffer or hurt certain people. Those actually stem from human fear. And if we could get out of our ego and really search for those, you know, core principles of benevolence, we wouldn't have any of these issues or evil. And that is when, you know, the consciousness rises. And I think that's what we're kind of working on now. But to get there, we have to face our darkness, which is why there's a lot of evil shit happening, because that's here so we can work and hopefully transmute it instead of fall victim to it, in my opinion.
Another question from our audience. Let's go to Uncle Remus again. Do you like studying Rudolf Steiner or Douglas Gabriel?
I don't know who Douglas Gabriel is. I would love to know more. Rudolf Steiner, I know a little bit about. I know that someone told me to study him because they think he has a lot to do with plasma, where he talks maybe about more ether stuff. But I literally don't know almost anything about either of them, which is so embarrassing. But maybe if I'm saying the same things, that means we're on the same track.
Cosmic Voice is asking, there are things being called Ranthia. They are plasma and can morph into any object and even into dead loved ones. They are conscious beings.
Oh.
I'm a contactee in New Zealand.
Well, that tracks.
Have you ever heard of the Ranthia?
I've never heard of the Ranthia, and I would love to hear more because then I can make a TikTok on it. It sounds like exactly what I'm saying. So it's very affirming to me that other people are talking about this, whatever they call it. It sounds cool. But yeah, I would love to know more about it. It also reminds me of the Jinn, which is another word for plasma, which are neutral beings that can morph into good or evil beings.
Well, let's learn about these things. They are typically described as non-human intelligences that exist in higher vibrational or non-physical dimensions. Sometimes compared to light beings, plasma conscious forms, interdimensional entities, or guides or teachers of ancient knowledge. In some accounts, they are said to interact with humans through altered states such as meditation, dreams, or psychic contact, not through physical craft. Now, if we look at how they are associated with energy, frequency, and consciousness, those who claim contact with Ranthia describe them as highly evolved, non-linear thinkers, communicating through feelings, symbols, or direct knowing, operating through energy grids or plasma-like fields. The name Ranthia is sometimes linked to the concepts of the Akashic field, quantum consciousness, Earth's energetic architecture. So there's your plasma again.
It's literally everything I'm saying. Where can you send me this? This is so cool. What this is channeling the same exact thing, which is exciting. I mean, we all should be channeling it because it's true. But I need to know where this came from, and I want to know like who made this, who said this first.
I got it off of ChatGPT.
Oh shit! Well, let me look on there. Yeah, literally, that's what I'm saying. Our fifth dimensional or intelligent beings, literally same thing. So that's very affirming to me. Okay,
yeah. I'd never heard of the Ranthia before, so that's kind of. I wonder exciting.
If it's like a ChatGPT hallucination.
Live off the ChatGPT, man. All right, let's go to Andromedan. What are your methods to astral travel or go out of body?
Interesting. Okay, so different one. So to learn out of body, I went to Monroe Institute. They do a great job at teaching it. I still cannot, they tell you to work at it. I didn't work at it. I'm very lazy. It didn't come natural to me. And I was like, but it was still a fun course I did there. But when you do go out of your body, the methods I have done, so in sleep paralysis, sleep paralysis is actually a gift. It's the first stage to going out of your body. So when you're in sleep paralysis, if you can relax into it, instead of like freak out like I usually do, you almost like drop in and then lift out. And that is actually how I've gone out of body the times that I have. And I think I go out more than I realize, but I don't remember all these times. But the times I remember, I was once in an airplane. It was from sleep paralysis that I went out of it. So there's ways to induce sleep paralysis, and you can look it up by sleeping on your back. It also happens in times of stress, which is really annoying. And then there's other ways the Monroe Institute teaches you, like kind of climbing, like if you're in a very meditative state, kind of climbing, picture that you're grasping for a rope and eventually you're like climbing out of your body, or that like you can roll out of your body. There's many ways to do it. I'm not a professional at out of body. Astral projection, I like to also call it bilocation personally, because when I astral project, I'm here and I'm also there. It is almost like when you're out of body, it's like your whole bioplasma aura and your consciousness lifts from your body. Whereas to me, when you're astral projecting, it seems like there's like a thinner level of that bioplasma with your consciousness, but you're still also, your consciousness is split and you're still here. Like it's more like a two-way split. And then there's like a three-way split you could do too. And with astral projection, all I do is literally think of where I want to go and have no resistance that I can't think that, or else I won't. It's not a logical process. It's just play. I just think, oh, I want to go to the center of the moon. And then I see what's there. Or, oh, I want to see what, they're doing. And sometimes I'm right, which is weird. But, when I overthink it, it doesn't work. And, you can tell when you're forcing a vision versus receiving a vision. They're two very different things. One is very logical when you're forcing it. And the other one is very non-logical, more right brain. And it's very hard to describe how to get in that state, but it really is a state of play, non-expectation, no resistance, not thinking, not doubting it, not forcing it. And I used to be able to do it way better when I first started doing this stuff before I got all in my head about it.
Love it. Would you recommend people going out of body? Is it something that anybody should try? Or if they are out of body, how do they get back in?
Yeah. I would say for someone like me who's had a lot of trauma, because I, still can resonate with darker energies at times because I've been going through a lot of stress the past few years. I feel like, I didn't always, I had some, I wouldn't call negative experiences, but I just didn't have the most positive experience going out of body. So I would say maybe heal some of your trauma before trying it. I don't think it's necessarily scary, I would say, but it can be scary. And it could be destabilizing if you haven't integrated, trauma in your mental health and you're dealing with a lot of stuff. It just complicates your life. I would try astral projecting first. And then what's the other question you asked?
Just in regards to should people do it, and how do they get back in their body if they catch themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say if you feel called to do it from love, do it. And if you're called to do it from fear, don't do it. And how to get back in your body. I kind of have always been zapped back into my body. I get so excited that I'm out of my body or overstimulated. I'm oh, I'm out of my body, I'm out of my body. And then I get shot back into my body. So I think it's just about learning how to kind of neutralize the same way as when you're getting this big role or big job interview and you're oh my God, or you like someone and you get overexcited and then it never works out. It's about regulating your nervous system so you don't get overexcited. Because when you're just when you're manifesting money, the more neutral you are, the more comes in, and the more attached you are, the more comes out. It's like grabbing sand and it going through your fingers. So at the core of this all is actually nervous system regulation, which is why, once again, all comes back to healing. And I'm sure there's many other ways to get back to your body if you've lost your body. I don't know enough about it.
One final question from our audience for you tonight. We got about 2 minutes to go.
Sure.
Go to Jessica. Negative and positive are human emotional contexts. Most other beings do not understand the same we do.
That's a very interesting. Mm-hmm.
It's more of a comment than a question, but just on the aspect of what she is talking about, how does the phenomena react to both the yin and yang?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's why I do think plasma can be very non-dual and reacts to anything, which is why it's so important for us to heal our trauma. Because, for instance, this is how people get cancer. If I'm telling myself constantly, I hate you, I want to die, or making jokes about that stuff, you literally can give yourself cancer by having negative self-talk. I mean, that's so many people say that nowadays. Everything starts with 99.9% starts, I'm not a doctor, but a lot starts with emotions and stress. And in a way, it's the same thing in your life, how you can manifest either negative or positive things. Plasma is giving you what it thinks you want. Your subconscious is what communicates with plasma, not your consciousness. It is your fourth dimensional subconscious, your bioplasma, your full body, not just your mind. Your full body is what communicates with plasma. It is your heart. It's your electromagnetic field, just like how electromagnetic fields communicate with plasma in real life and shape plasma. If you're not coherent If you're decoherent, plasma is going to give you what it thinks you want, which you do not want. So basically what I'm saying here is learn how to heal your subconscious, your trauma, your limiting beliefs, and learn how to sync your consciousness with your subconscious. Because if you say you're going to make $1 million, but you don't believe that at your core, plasma is going to give you that not $1 million. And it's scary to think that way, but it's true. But we have complete control over it, and give yourself grace because it takes time to heal these things.
Dana, we want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio. You're absolutely amazing tonight. And we want all of our listeners to go get your book on Amazon called A New Force.
Yes.
Yeah. Go get it. It's her debut book, A New Force, Plasma, Consciousness, and the New Human Potential. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, the Wizard joins us for the UFO Report. Stay tuned, everyone.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
You were amazing.
Yay.
Were we good for you?
Yeah, you're a great interviewer. Thank you.
You.
Thank you for being awesome. I feel bad sometimes like not asking you enough about yourself, but I know you're interviewing me, but like sometime I would love to hear your Bigfoot stories.
Well, we can do that. I'll call you and tell you about it.
Yes, I have to know.
Yes.
Everyone in the chat.
Tell you about it.
Okay. Everyone
go get some sleep.
Yes. I know. I'm going to take her to pee.
All right. Don't forget to chew your food.
I won't.
Okay.
Have a great night, and thanks for having me. And I'm so excited. That was so fun.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Dana Kippel, everybody. She was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. We got to bring her back. I'll be right back, everybody. right. Let us bring in the wizard. Here he comes. Looks like he's got a fresh haircut.
Yeah, man. You know, I had to get the mop trimmed. It was getting a little too bushy. I was starting to look like Sasquatch. So,
well, there's worse things to look like.
That's true. That is true. It's funny. I was doing a dowsing rod session at a MUFON campout a few weeks back, and my daughter was with me, and she asked if I was a Sasquatch. She asked the rod while I was using the rod. She asked what we were talking with is if I was a Sasquatch. And when the rod said no, she was like, "Oh, because he's so hairy." I just assumed. I was like, "Well, thanks for just
nice.
Thanks for that sick burn in front of these people." Right? This camp out. So yeah. Do the kids say sick burn anymore? I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
All right. We got 30 seconds left. Thank you to Walter, Amy, and Tim for the super chats. Greatly appreciate the love and support. And of course, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. No ugly swag. We put up some new items once again to make it look good. So make sure you check it out. K17, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. We're coming back in 5 seconds, everybody. Swamp Dweller's about 5 minutes. Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. My name is Dave Scott. We have Swamp Dweller and the wizard, Josh Rutledge, joining us here momentarily to take on over the third hour. Hey, we want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Rexus. Rexus is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. To get this story started, here is a bit of background information about myself. I am a female, 17 years of age. I'm very petite, weighing about 100 pounds and standing at just 5'3". I recently joined my local gym around January 2019 and have started a routine of when I work out every day, except for Monday, sometime around 6 p.m. usually, and usually I'll stay for about an hour or two depending on the day and how I feel. Anyone who goes to the gym regularly notices others around them and gets familiar with what times and machines are usually available. And if a new person comes, you usually notice them. My point is that you get used to these people in the gym with you, whether or not you communicate with them. As a girl who goes to the gym, from my experience, you will get the occasional glance from a weirdo or make awkward eye contact with someone staring at you in the mirror. But all you can do is stare back at them dead in the eyes and give them the nastiest look of disgust. Now, the time that I go to the gym is when everyone usually starts to leave. I am very antisocial and shy, so this works out great for me. Or so I had thought, having some alone time would be excellent. And if something were to happen, they would have cameras everywhere. Now I know this is a stupid way to think, but knowing that you had to have a key card to get into the gym and one to get out was a comfort along with the cameras. For this past month of me doing my workouts, I got this weird vibe from this random guy we will call Randy. As I said, you usually get people looking at you. So it is hard to tell if someone is genuinely a significant threat or just someone being a creep. Either way, both are usually bad, but it's difficult to distinguish the two. I told my mom about this Randy guy because my gut feeling told me something was just wrong and I felt like I needed some advice. She told me we should tell the manager and have them kick him out. But being naive and friendly, I didn't want to kick a guy out just for giving me the creeps. It wasn't a good argument at the time. I started to notice some of the other girls weren't coming as regularly as they would. I brushed this off, thinking they had work or were out of town or something. It was really none of my business, but it was something to note. The staff of the gym leaves around 6:30 p.m., and I noticed that Randy was coming in almost precisely when the manager and staff would leave. Again, I didn't really pay too much attention to this because he could have just been a regular person trying to work out at a specific time due to his job or whatever was going on in his life. This was a huge mistake on my end. Here is me trying to reason with myself and rationalize that nothing was going on because I constantly saw Randy. So I considered him one of the regulars, I guess. But this is where the story actually begins. I went to do my daily workout, and the manager, let's call her Alyssa, came up and talked to me about other girls who worked out at the same time I did. These girls were complaining about Randy secretly recording them while they worked out. The girls changed their workout schedule due to Randy, which explains why I saw fewer and fewer of them. She asked me if I had seen any men holding their phone up to their chest and walking with the camera pointed outwards. I said no, until I told Alyssa about this random man Randy, who was starting to creep me out. She said she would look into it and update me on the situation, mainly since I'm underage. The next day, Alyssa talked to me. She said that one of the girls who complained about him pointed him out on the cameras and that she would wait for Randy to come back into the gym, kick him out, and trespass him if he ever came back. She left that night not knowing what had happened because Alyssa was still waiting after I left. I returned to the gym that following Tuesday and Alyssa told me everything that had gone down. She had said that she waited till Randy and his buddy, who we will call Kyle, came to the gym and were parked outside. Alyssa had a friend who was a sheriff. Apparently, he rang up Randy's license plates, and to both of their surprises, he was a registered sex offender and had put on probation recently. Alyssa then found out that Randy didn't even have a key card, meaning he was not a member of the gym and shouldn't have been using the gym, period. His friend Kyle had a key card and was letting Randy in. They would work out sometimes and wait for the staff to leave and do creepy things. Alyssa prohibited both of the men entering the gym again and kicked them out. The scary thing is that I remember being alone in that gym with those two guys very often. They blended in very well, and I considered them just average workout people. I'm still not sure if Randy or Kyle recorded me, but Alyssa told me she was going to look through the footage and let me know any other news she could, such as them recording me and all that. It is terrifying to think that I got accustomed to these guys regularly being at the gym. I am so thankful that Alyssa kept me informed on the situation. As terrifying as it is, it shows that you should always be aware of what's happening around you and to trust your instincts. It also shows that you never can trust anyone you think you might know. As stupid as it sounds, it's easy to get comfortable with people we see daily even if we don't know who they are. But who knows what might have happened if I caught Randy and Kyle alone again. Please be careful at all times. Never judge anyone for good or bad until you actually know them. You never know what might be out there to hurt you. Thank you for your time in reading the story.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, hit Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories to really kind of creep you out each and every night. Yeah, go check it out. It'll be good for you. Time for Josh.
Space Out Radio presents a UFO report. The UFO wizard makes his presence known. Josh Furlage is ready to go.
Wizard, how you doing tonight? Thank you for coming on in.
I am doing fantastic, Dave and the gang. Ready to start another week of exploring the UFO phenomena.
Oh, me too, my man. Me too. I wanted to start off with Age of Disclosure because this movie, I don't know if you've checked out the ratings on it or not. I still have not personally seen it because I haven't been able to find it on my Amazon Prime Canada account.
And because you lack the technological skills to use a VPN.
Exactly. Exactly. But I will watch it. I do want
Yeah.
to see it because I do believe there are important messages on there. But I wanted to show you this because for some, they think these stats are a little skewed. So, according to Rotten Tomatoes, okay, which does ratings on all movies,
Mm-hmm.
it has a 30% tomato meter, which is very, very low, but the popcorn meter is 93%. So, what that kind of means is that people who are not really fans or don't understand this subject, they're not getting it. They're not interested in it. However, those who are sharing the post have shared it quite a bit. That's what the popcorn meter is, I believe. I think I'm getting that right.
I don't know. I feel like I need to go to Chat GPT and ask what those two things mean.
I'm doing that right now.
I have heard that having a high tomato meter score is a good thing, which seems counteractive to the idea that like you would go to like a show or a play and it would be horrible, and so you in the peanut gallery would throw rotten fruit at the performers.
Right.
So I don't know why having a high score is that a high likelihood that you would not throw rotten fruit. It doesn't really seem to make sense to me. But for the context of this discussion, I just need to understand what having a high score means. Is having a high score good or having a high score bad?
Well, I got it here. So now we can figure it out.
Okay.
So the tomato meter is the critic score. It represents a percentage of professional film critics who gave the movie or TV show a positive review. So it's only at 30% positive review. Okay, so 75% or higher is certified fresh, widely praised by critics. 60 to 74% is considered fresh, mostly positive. 0 to 59% is rotten, mostly negative. However, the audience loves it. The popcorn meter, which is also called the audience score, represents the percentage of regular viewers who said they liked the movie or show. So that's how it got 93%, which would mean 3.5 stars or higher. But the interesting part about this is on the X account for the age of disclosure, they were actually farming likes and positivity from the crowd. So it is kind of skewed because you have a very passionate crowd out there, Josh.
Yeah.
That is going to support the UFO community no matter what, because they are passionate. And if something big happens, like The Age of Disclosure by Dan Farah, they are going to really push the narratives to try and get the story out there more to the public. However, the critics, not a fan. Your thought?
So the critics, well, let me first say that with the rise of algorithms and how algorithms influence how content is suggested to people on various streaming platforms, it makes me wonder if viewer reviews actually matter the way that we used to think about viewer reviews. Because to your point, if they're farming viewer reviews, or for somebody to just go out there and say this is great, or give it a 5-star or a 4-star, so that the algorithm will push the movie to more people, then it's in my opinion, it's like people who go to those services that have basically call centers in third world countries that just play your YouTube video over and over and over again so that it looks like you have a lot of views, but when you actually look at the data, it's they're only watching for 3 seconds and then they're stopping. And so YouTube works to crack down on that kind of stuff, but it's an attempt to manipulate the algorithm. And so that's first kind of gut reaction is are viewer reviews even beneficial anymore, since people are constantly trying to figure out how to manipulate the algorithm? Second thing is, it'd be interesting to me, the critics who reviewed the documentary, because the if they're just movie professionals, are they reviewing it based on the content, or are they reviewing it based on the filmography or the lighting or the sound or the use of B-roll or whatever the case may be? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are they critics within the UFO community, or are they just general film critics that made no attempt to appreciate or understand the content of the documentary?
Well, and that's the big question right there. What were they critiquing on? Personally, from what I have been able to find, is that they were not impressed with the lack of evidence that was shown, which I can fully comprehend and understand.
Yeah.
However, on the people side of things, if they aren't farming out, people like it because they want to know what the truth is. They want to know what is going on. They want to know what secrets the U.S. government is hiding. And that's really what it comes down to.
And that's where I think, we talked about it last week too, is that basically what, Dan Farah did is assemble, a team of well-respected but also mysterious individuals in the U.S. government to go on the record and make specific statements. But the statements that they made, without feeling like I'm beating a dead horse, the statements that they made are no different than anyone else in the community has been making for the last 80 plus years. So it's really the fact that they are quote unquote professionals, or experts, if that's even such a thing within this topic, on the topic, and they're willing to go on the record. I agree that, I wish that Age of Disclosure had more meat and potatoes. It was a lot of broth. If we talk about it in a soup form, it was a lot of broth and not a lot of substance. We talked about it last week. It for those of us that are in the community, which apparently are the people that are actually sharing this, are the ones in the community. Most of us probably know or already know. Oh, I'll be conservative and say 80% of what was discussed in the documentary. Somebody else asked me for my review of it, and I gave the same response I gave on here last week. I think it was done well for the people who are on the fringe. But if Rotten Tomatoes is an indication that the people that are on the fringe are not really watching it, then it's missed its target audience. So having people in the community to continue to uprate it so that it continues to get pushed by the algorithm may be the only way for it to reach its target audience.
And I think you're right on that, but I'm excited to see it. Okay. I'm excited to see it, not because of the message that I already know that we're not alone. We have to be, honest about that there is, really nothing that's moving the ball forward, so to speak, just like we talked about the other night. But I am excited that it does open up a lot of doors for people who may have been, wondering, what's this all about? Why are we doing this? So on and so forth. So I find that exciting for people. But this is kind of what we're talking about right here. And I'm just going to share this right here. Here's a tweet right here by The Age of Disclosure. The Age of Disclosure now has a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's get it to 100. So basically right there, it's farming people to go make sure that they like it, which, you know what, we all do
Yeah,
in
we all do.
today's day and age.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell people to hit subscribe and follow
Right.
each and every night. So I can't blame them for that. But I think it really shows a difference of what's happening when the statistics are so lopsided both ways.
Yeah, and I did navigate to the Rotten Tomatoes page for it and clicked on the reviews, the 10 review, and it's now 10. This screenshot shows 8, but it's now 10. And like you said, most of them are of those critic reviews. Most of them are just kind of really downing the fact that they don't just, they didn't parade an ET in front of the camera and have it give its testimony as to the secret space program cover-up thing that the government's been doing for 80 years. But I would also say that the person who would do that type of review as a critic, again, probably has they are an outside looking in, because if they were a part of the community, they would know that was never going to be in the film, because at the end of the day, all that stuff is still classified, and none of these people are willing to go and break those NDAs or classification standards or whatever the case may be and risk, jail time or worse. So, that it was never going to be anything close to a smoking gun in this documentary. Even people are talking about part 2 is going to be even more stuff that fell on the cutting room floor. I still think it's going to be the same stuff. It's just going to be said by different people. But we're never going to look at this picture that I smuggled out of the Pentagon, or look at this document that I smuggled out of the Pentagon that has all the names of Majestic 12 and their offspring. We're never going to get that, because things are still overly classified. And until that changes, no one is willing to risk what's left of their career or life just to shed some additional light on the topic.
Well, either way, I think it's going to be a great fit for many people who are wanting to learn.
No,
I really do. And
I had many people who know I'm interested in the topic on social media message me privately and ask me what I thought of Age of Disclosure, and I told them all the same thing. If you have any interest in the topic whatsoever, you should watch it, because it is a spectacular recap of where we started in 2017 to where we are now, with some additional little tidbits of potential insight along the way. So anybody who has the slightest interest in the topic, even if you've been in the community and the topic for 30 years, go watch it, because I think it does contain some key pieces of information that we didn't have before.
Hold that thought. Josh Rutledge, the UFO Wizard. And when we return, a little bit of an anniversary to talk about.
This is Spaced Out Radio, and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear, my man.
Cool. Just so you know, I did prepare for tonight, but what I have prepared is 3 new theories that are emerging to look at both NHI and the phenomena differently.
Sure.
So if we want to touch on any of those,
so let me get through the anniversary portion here first.
Yep.
Then we will be good to go. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a long week last week with the holiday. I have the anniversary of my first date is on the 21st. My wedding anniversary is on the 23rd. Thanksgiving. My wife's birthday is on the 28th. So it was like a really busy 7 days. So
you're in cruise
sometimes
control now, buddy.
Yeah. Sometimes her birthday falls on Thanksgiving. Those are always fun. So
I hear you.
But yeah, you ever have like days off from work that when you get done, you're like, I feel like I need more days off from because at least for me, it feels like whenever I have time off from work, I have a list of things that I need to get done. So it's not really time away. It's just I'm just shifting my focus.
I had a beautiful Saturday, Sunday relaxation weekend. And literally, I woke up this morning to go to work, and I didn't shake off the brain fog until about 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I don't know what caused it. Didn't sleep well. So
I woke up at like 3 o'clock this morning, remembering that I didn't turn everybody's alarms back on since we're starting back regular week. Yeah. So looked at my phone and turned all the alarms back on, but then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I read for like 2 hours and then finally went back to sleep around 10 to 5, and then the alarm went off at 6. So
see, I can't read at night anymore because I get addicted to the reading part. And next thing I know, it's like, I remember one time I decided one time I was reading a Tom Clancy book and I went to bed early, like early for me, crawled into bed at like 9 o'clock. And this is before I ever did the show. I finally forced myself to go to bed at 3:35 in the morning.
Wow.
I just couldn't put it down. Like every page, there was a new twist and turn.
Yeah. Well, Tom Clancy books are good for that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way with a lot of the Jack Reacher series.
Yeah.
By Lee Child. Those are also really good.
I haven't tested out the books on those yet.
Really?
No.
Oh, they're really good. There's like 26 of them or something like that now.
I'd have to check that series out.
I listened to a lot of them when I got started on audiobook. I'll tell you this, that when you read the Jack Reacher books, you will never be able to watch the Tom Cruise movie again, because you'll see that Tom Cruise was a horrible casting for Jack Reacher. But if you ever really get it in Canada, there is a Reacher series on Amazon, and they do a fantastic job of casting Jack Reacher for that series.
Oh yeah. That dude who plays Reacher on TV.
Yeah.
On the Amazon series, fantastic.
Did you ever watch?
I'll tell you what I am getting sick of though is these 6-part episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can we not get back to real television series, please, with like 26 episodes? I need that in a show like Reacher. I do. Hold on, wait, there we go. Coming back in 30 seconds. Thank you to Deborah Rooney Paramarv, to Walter, to Amy, and to Tim for these wonderful super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support tonight, everybody. And got some new swag up at the Spaced Out Radio store. It's definitely not ugly. You're going to definitely want to check it on out. So please do. Good Christmas presents, because you want good Christmas presents for your family. Here we go. We're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in, wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We have the wizard Josh Rutledge here hanging on out with us for the UFO report. Josh, thank you for being here. And you know, tonight is actually a very, very special night. And you might not even know why.
I don't know that I do. I'm all ears, though.
Tonight is the start of the 11th year of Spaced Out Radio.
Wow.
11 years.
11 years. Wow.
Yeah. Hard to believe. I remember starting on Blog Talk Radio online, which was the absolute worst site ever. Like literally ever. And then building it into a syndicated radio show.
Yeah.
Over time.
Well, congratulations. Happy
Man.
Birthday, anniversary.
Anniversary, I think, would be the proper term.
Although it was born from your creativity.
It was 11 years, man. 11 years I've been working 2 full-time jobs. No wonder I'm tired.
Yeah.
No wonder I just want to go to sleep sometimes. Holy cow. But I want to give a big shout out quickly here, and we're going to continue on. I don't want to dwell too much on this. I want to give a big shout out to my team of Spaced Out Radio people, especially behind the scenes, who really, really do an incredible job, both on air and off the air, in making us sound really, really good. You have to have a strong team behind you. I want to say a big thank you to my family for allowing me to pursue my dream of broadcasting this show each and every night. Because if they ever said that's enough, I'd probably say, okay. But at 52 years old, what I am, they still want me to pursue my dream, which is great. And that is to make this show bigger, better, right across North America. You know, never mind social media. We're already there around the world, but on terrestrial radio. And a big thank you to all of our radio stations that broadcast us. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure to be able to share this show, these topics, and the love I have for being behind a microphone and broadcasting a fun, entertaining nighttime show that deals nothing with politics outside of UFOs. It's a time where people can just sit back and relax because they're not going to get hammered with the reaction videos or the how are you feeling today videos, what's upsetting you today videos, those videos that try and trigger you. We don't do that. It's all about just trying to allow people to relax. One of the greatest compliments I have in doing this show, especially at night, is when people message me and say, Dave, you put me to sleep every night. Now, a lot of people would take that as an insult, that I'm not doing my job, not being very entertaining. I take it as a compliment, because those people who say that, they've had a stressful day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help someone relax and get a good night's sleep, whether they've listened for 15 minutes or whether they've listened for 2.5 hours, I've done my job. So I want to say the final thank you after our radio stations to all of our listeners out there, because without you guys, we have nothing. Whether you're listening in on terrestrial radio, whether you're listening digitally, whether you're watching live on streaming sites like YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever other ones we use, Twitch and X. Thank you very much for being a part of our evenings. We love doing this for you, and we're going to continue again to keep it going, because it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. So big thanks. I'm all full of love tonight, my man. All full of love.
Yeah, it's nice when you get to your 11th year and you still feel this passionately about it, as you did probably when you started out. Maybe even more passionately about it now than you did when you started out.
I've changed that passion. I've changed it. I've become a lot more fickle, because I like the word fickle. Okay. I have, at times been a little bit crazed, because a lot of what we do, you need to really delve into.
Yeah.
And you need the time to do it. If I was doing this full time, where this was my only job, I didn't have to worry about my daytime job.
Yeah.
We'd be digging in a lot deeper on a lot of these subjects. It would be a lot more journalistic. Okay. And maybe some of that wouldn't make the live show, but it definitely would be making our website, social media, and everything like that to make it a little bit different. But for what we have, very happy. I'm very satisfied. And if it all ended tomorrow, I could say that I created something that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And we did it the hard way. We haven't to this day got any contracts. All of our radio stations that carry us are on a handshake deal, because it's just easier that way. And I check in with our radio stations all the time, every couple months, and just check out, hey, how are we doing with the listeners? How are the listeners doing? And they always come back, Dave, the audience loves you. We don't get a single complaint about your show. And that's a testament to the great guests that we have, the great hosts that we have. Okay. And the ability that people are interested in listening to something weird and strange every now and again.
Yep. It's very cool, man. I applaud everything that everybody, that's been associated with Spaced Out Radio has done over the years to get you where you are, to help support you along the way. And like you said, I'm sure without the backing of your family, it would have been probably a non-starter, but B, if you did try to start it and they still weren't backing you, it probably would have fizzled out a long time ago, or you'd be grumpy all the time, or your family would be grumpy all the time.
I think the biggest thing for me is in this field is trying to separate us from a podcast.
Yeah.
Even though we do go into podcast form, I still love the idea of being called a radio journalist.
Yeah.
It's what I went to college for. It's what I enjoy. And what we do is hard. Whether you're podcasting or whether you're broadcasting live radio, if you put your passion and understanding into it, it's not about the names. Like people always say, come up to me, rookies will come up and say to me, how do you do it? How do you get it? I said, don't worry about the big names. Don't worry about it. You know what? Because they all want the Richard Dolans, the Lou Elizondos, the Linda Moulton Howes, the Grant Camerons, the Melinda Leslies, the Steve Bassett's. And then what they try and do is they try and name drop everything, right? You don't need that. All you need to do is learn how to tell a good story.
Yep.
That's it.
And be a really good interviewer. If you're doing an interview-based podcast, that's one that, we shipped when the one that I did with my friend Stefan, we shifted to that model for a long time, an interview-based podcast. And that was a compliment we got quite a bit, was that we were really good interviewers because we knew a lot about the topic that the person who was on was going to be speaking about. So we could have, an in-depth conversation about it. And it is not just surface type questions and, busy type questions that ChatGPT gave you and you're just reading off, well, how did you get started? And you asked that question, but in their intro, when you said, tell us a little bit about yourself, in their intro, they told you how they got started, but you weren't really paying attention. You didn't pick up on that. And so now you're asking the same question that they've already given you the answer to. So it goes a long way to actually be an active listener as a podcaster, listen to what your guests are saying, and then formulate real questions or responses instead of just, pulling from some de facto list that you got offline.
Absolutely. And to young podcasters out there, you can have your 25, 40 questions prepared, but nothing sounds better than letting a conversation be natural. Just let it happen. Whether you get one question in a half an hour, or whether you get 10.
Yep.
Just let it happen.
And take a little bit of time. Like, when you book a guest, know a little bit about what they're going to speak about and take a little time to research just a little bit. No one is expecting you to be an expert. That's why you're having a guest on. But take a little bit of time to research a little bit about what they're going to talk about so that you can ask intelligent questions as opposed to, just dumb, everyday, normal questions. So,
all right, what do you got for us? We got 9 minutes left.
Yep. So I've been looking into lately some of the new ideas that are being tossed around out there for the explanation of the phenomenon. And actually 3 of them have caught my eye, and I've been spending more time researching those and looking into them more. But I just wanted to read through a couple of them with you guys.
Sure.
So one is that NHI, so non-human intelligence, as a distributed field instead of entities. So the way that this works out is that NHIs may not be discrete humanoid beings traveling in vehicles. Instead, they may be a field of information distributed non-locally across space-time, capable of forming temporary knots of self-organization, creating apparitional or physical seeming forms, interacting with consciousness, manifesting through EM, plasma, or quantum conditions, localizing enough to appear as craft or beings, but then dissolving back into a non-local substrate. Think of it as like consciousness weather versus aliens and spaceships.
It's pretty deep.
What do you think?
It's pretty deep.
Pretty deep. Yeah, good luck going to sleep tonight.
With 7 minutes to go in the show, I'm trying to find the brain power to kind of put that together. How do you think this would affect the experiencer, the people?
Yeah. So the way that I think this would be experienced by people is this would actually help to explain, I think, why sometimes people see different things during an experience or like a CE5 type event, because the information field is being perceived differently by different people based on wherever they happen to be in their let's say frequency or vibration to be able to consume the information from the information field. So when you think about, for example, that big case, what was it in? Was it in Mexico? The big, was it like the Virgin Mary? I'm looking at it. Hold on, I've got it here. The Fatima miracle of 1917. You familiar with this at all?
No, fill us in on this one.
Okay, so 50,000 people had it's the largest mass experience event in history. It's the Fatima miracle 1917. Some people saw a spinning sun, some people saw luminous clouds, some people saw entity shapes, some people saw angel hair, some even saw the Virgin Mary. But everybody had, not everybody, but there were groups of people who had varying experiences with this so-called Fatima miracle. And this could go to explain, if you think about it as an information field, if you think about the internet as an information field, or even AI, you and I can ask the same question or do the same search, and we'll get back similar information, but we may not get back the exact same information because of words that we might use, or you might add a punctuation and I don't add punctuation. And so the search engine or AI has to determine if I'm asking a question or if I'm making a statement. So because of that, we get different information back. So the same could be true if the phenomenon is an informational field as opposed to, physical beings. Then depending on the state of mind of the person who's having the experience, they may perceive it completely different than the person standing next to them. And this could explain why, again, phenomena across large events. Think about Skinwalker Ranch. People experienced all the stuff that happens to Skinwalker Ranch differently. That could be explained if it's an information field as opposed to actually physical entities.
Do you think then, if these aren't physical entities, that maybe they are some sort of idea put in our head? Maybe some sort of telepathic vision that we are seeing?
It's possible. And it kind of goes along with another theory that's being floated around, which is the observer inclusion principle. In the observer inclusion principle, and I only got a few minutes left here, but it is not a matter of a passive witness to the phenomenon, but rather that the observer is an active participant whose perception, emotional state, expectations, and consciousness directly influence how the phenomenon manifests. So I actually have some really good, examples of this. I've talked with people who say, I went out to do a CE5 expecting to see an orb, and that's exactly what I saw. But other people in my group saw a craft because they went into the experience setting the expectation of what their experience was going to be. So it may be that it is a telepathic push, but it may be our own telepathic push because of maybe, biases that we enter into the experience with. If you expect to see an orb is what you're going to get.
What if it's the phenomena
protecting
protecting us, though, Josh?
What's that?
What if it's the phenomena protecting us? Okay, hear me out for a second, because we only have 2 minutes, so I got to be quick. Okay, sometimes you get people who maybe are not prepared to see something, So I'm say looking at my wall and I see a Bigfoot, a sculpted Bigfoot head on my wall, but you may see something completely different.
Yeah.
The phenomena seems to do a lot of this, where you could have a group of 5 people. They all are attending a UFO sighting, but they all see something different at the same time. A lot of people will say that's humanity, okay, because everybody sees things differently. Or is that the phenomena that is controlling who can see what?
It could be both. Because one of the things that I've also seen is that people who have shared ghost experiences will sometimes see the spirit differently. One person may see it as an old woman, another person may see it as a young child. So in that way, the phenomena picked the best appropriate form to appear to that person as, so that that person will have the best possible experience they can with that experience.
And that's the hard judge. I know when I had in 2023, when 7 of us had the UFO and alien sightings in the forest, I was the only one to see the UFO out of the 7 on the ground. The other 6 saw the aliens. I did not see the aliens.
Because you weren't, and that's what I think it's where you weren't ready to cross that threshold of seeing aliens.
Is it that, or it wasn't my turn?
Again, maybe both.
Right.
The other thing is, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
We're gonna have to hold it. We'll have to hold it till you're on next. Josh Rutledge, the UFO wizard, on tonight with us. We say a big thank you to Josh, and a big thank you to Dana Kippel for being our show guest for the first 2 hours, as we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking us in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, and the Space Travelers Club on X. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. That's a good show, everybody. Good show. Do I have you on mute, Josh? Or
no, I unmuted.
All right. That's good stuff. Good job tonight, man.
Yeah,
but that part of the phenomena really trips me out, dude. About how you could see one thing and I could be looking in the exact same place and there's nothing there.
I think I may have talked about it on the show before. I can't remember, but on a podcast that I did, I interviewed an atheist one time. And it was a great podcast episode, just talking to an atheist about the possibility of the phenomenon. But after the show, after we had done recording, I was showing him my photo of a ghost that I took. And he could see nothing in the photo. He saw nothing other than the curtain and the shelves in the background. He saw nothing, because And the reason I had an atheist on the show is because I wondered if to experience the phenomena requires some level of spirituality. Not necessarily religious, but just to be spiritual in some way, to be open to the possibility of things beyond what we can see and taste and touch and hear, and smell. And so I wanted to interview an atheist, and I did. And he basically kind of, just his opinion solidified my thought that spiritualities does play some role in how you experience the phenomena. So that makes me wonder also, with what we just talked about, is how people experience the phenomena differently may also be dependent upon their ascribed to method or belief system, their spiritual belief system. People who are inherently religious, especially on the Christian side of the house, tend to think of the phenomena as either angels or demons. But people who are, more open or spiritually open to a lot of things tend to see the phenomena as, aliens or UFOs.
Right.
The other thing that I recently wrote a Medium article about is in the U.S., and this may be true also in Canada, but in the U.S., probably even Australia, now that I'm thinking about it, when people came and migrated to the U.S., a lot of times they abandoned their culture to adopt whatever the culture was of wherever they were moving to, so that they could be accepted by the already existing, society they were trying to incorporate into.
Right.
So in the U.S., there's not a lot of, European culture and things that is left over. So the U.S. had to establish and create its own culture. And so that's why I think we have so much UFO type activity, is because this is a brand new emerging, cultural lore that doesn't, that has history here through Native American teachings and such, but didn't have history here for many Europeans because they abandoned the culture they left, in their old country.
Very true. Very true.
So, but anyways, on that high, I think I'll try to calm down and get ready to maybe go to sleep in 30 minutes, maybe.
Oh, dude. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Always a good time with you,
We
brother.
we need to do just a full show where we just talk nothing about these deep woo theories, man.
Oh, it's what the Vegas party is all about, May 21st to 25th. Have a beer.
Yeah.
Have a woo.
Have a woo.
Yeah.
The woo is strong with this one. You know what they say?
That's very true. Brother, I'm going to let you go.
Yep. See y'all.
Thank you.
Talk to you on Thursday.
See you, buddy. All right. The wizard, everybody. How awesome is he? I want to show you something here. Got some good stuff here. Well, my show is, hold on, let me see if I can get it downloaded now. I got to get rid of 3 shits in here. Hold on. Is it ready to download yet? Yep. She's a downloading. All right. What did I want to show you guys? This is what I want to show you guys. Hold on. Here we go. Got this new shirt up today. It's an update on the other one because I accidentally erased the other one. Get all sorts of colors here. It's just a navy blue one. This one I absolutely love. kind of old school baseball. And then on the back, we own the night. Old school, easy. And then for kids, I got this one right here. Cute little spaced out radio one right there. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Plus all the other cool stuff that we have. I've updated a bunch of it. Remember, Chicks Dig Bigfoot. That's right. That's how we roll around here. Lots of cool swag there, guys. Lots of cool stuff. Tomorrow night on the show, Christian McLeod will be here for the experience. We're going to have a good time with him. All right. We will. I promise you that. And we're going to have a good time with everything else, man. So make sure you check it on out. Make sure you do. I'm going to go editing because I have to edit this show. Thank you tonight to Deborah Rooney ×2, Aussie Boss Tiger, Paramarv, Walter, Amy, and Tim. Thank you for the love, everybody. Appreciate you so, so much. Thank you for 11 years, man. 11 years. Hard to freaking believe. Don't know where that went. Besides a big lack of sleep. But we'll take it. We'll take it. Absolutely. You guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to get going here. And thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow. Do me a favor. Tell a friend, okay? Have a good night, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.